Welcome back to Pia Pops Off, a podcast where we talk about everything and anything, usually pop culture. And today we are on episode number, I think we're on 12. Today we are back recapping Summer House, and we're back recapping it with my besties, my Bravo sleuths, Shirla and Jaleeza. So we're recapping every episode of Summer House, and we are on episode number 4, and I had so many thoughts, and I'm sure so does Shirla and Jaleeza. I have held off on talking to them in our group chat because I wanted to literally figure and say all of our opinions in real time for the first time on the podcast, which took all of my strength because I had so many thoughts. But before we get to Shirla and Jaleeza and breaking down the episode of Summer House, we have a little Pia Pop Business to attend to, which is really not that much. It's just the same old, same old. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you can stay informed whenever I drop new episodes, which is where I'm working on what days I want to drop it, because now that we're doing Summer House, like I feel like Wednesday is literally almost a week since the episode would have aired. So I'm playing around with trying to get the episode out on like Sunday, because we record it on a Friday because the episode comes out on Thursday. Hope you kept track with that. But that's on me. But that's why it's really important to subscribe and hit the notification bell, especially because then it will just alert you when the episode is there. But don't worry, I'm going to figure out what works best for the pod. And when I know, you'll know. Okay? Sound fair? All right. That's really all the Pia Pop business that I have to attend to today. So let's just get right into it and jump into Summer House. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Welcome back. We are on technically episode 4 of Summer House, right? Yeah, episode 4. But the first episode that we recapped was just a pretty much a rough summary of the first 3 episodes. But now we're going to get into the dirty details of episode 4, because I have a lot of notes. I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah.
And I just know, and I purposely didn't talk to you guys because I wanted everything to come out on here organically, but it was really hard.
I've been sending you guys so many things from TikTok. Like, oh my God, did you see this?
Yeah, no, I've been seeing so much stuff. I watched the episode twice because I wanted to watch for pleasure. Yeah. And then I watched, for let's get down to the details. I want to really break it down, because I feel like I have a lot of shifting opinions from because we knew about the Craig and Kyle thing, and now my opinion has shifted, but we're not there yet. But a lot of things shifted for me. A lot of things opened up for me.
Oh,
did you guys feel that way for this episode?
No. Because for me, I'm just I'll just tell it to you. I guess because for me, I've always said the same thing about Hannah. My opinions about Hannah has never shifted. For me, it's always been when people tell you who they are, they'll continue to show themselves. So that hasn't shifted. And then Kyle's Kyle, and Craig has always been a liar. So it's just
not allegedly. There is footage. So I'm super comfortable with putting that on him.
Yeah, 100%. So sorry.
I think I'm probably landing a little bit in the middle. There's a few people who my opinions have changed on, but the major players in this whole thing, I mean, I think most of my views still stand.
See, I feel like I'm more with Jaleeza, but I should have always been a Shirla, is the thing.
Shirla doesn't take shit. We both want to give them the benefit.
So the thing is, I feel like me, exactly. And the thing is, I think at the end of it, when we start breaking it down, we're all going to have the same opinion. Even if we don't, that's also fine. But I have a feeling it's going to be the same thing. And Shirla's will be I always had that opinion. So.
And I think it's just it's just one of those things of you want to see the best in people. Yes, initially.
Mm-hmm.
But then they literally keep proving themselves and giving evidence. Yeah. And I'm going to fall back as we break it down. But this is
please don't fall back. Please fall forward.
I can't. So even if I tell myself.
Oh my God. I can't. I'm so giddy. Oh, and another thing. Oh my God. I'm so giddy for this. I'm so it took me all my fucking might not to message you guys. Okay. But before we get into the recap of Summer House, I wanted to go over some things that I've been seeing on social media. I want to follow up with some stuff from last episode. Have you guys, Shirla specifically, have you listened to the Bad Baby song? You did not. I knew you didn't. I should have freaking sent it to you.
What? Didn't I tell you to
didn't.
send it to me? Because I'm going to be like, oh, yeah,
you probably
for sure.
did. Well,
Roll the tapes,
I had a feeling.
Bravo.
Roll the tapes back. I'm pretty sure you did. And I definitely didn't. But that's okay because I was prepared for this. I wanted to update you. I'm going to update you.
There's more?
So in the saga of Bad... Oh, there's more. There's always more. So in this past week since we last talked, Alabama Barker has been silent. She's turned off comments. She is like not wanting anybody to respond because the internet has been dragging her cosplaying self up and down the internet. It's been really tragic, but enjoyable for me to watch. But then she responded, and she should not have. She should not have because she released like a snippet of her what she's gonna say her follow up to her rebuttal diss track, and it did not land. The people are making fun of her. She's quickly deleted said video. And she also deleted the video where she's like she made a TikTok where she's, I guess in her diss track, she is also calling out Bad Baby's child, which is not even a year old, I don't think. Like, we're like, Alabama, we only talk about adults, not children. Like, and she really thought she ate with that. And she was really reminded by the internet that children are off limits, and she has deleted it.
Good.
I would like to know what Kris Jenner is going to do about her. Like, she is a liability.
Yeah, I have that whole family blocked. So I just... so
when
even
Shirla
if Kris Jenner responds, I literally don't see them. I have them blocked on all social media platforms. I do not.
Well, the funny thing is that you should check to see if they are still blocked, because I've seen people say that they have blocked the Kardashians relentlessly, and somehow every so often they'll pop up on their feed and they're like, I've blocked them. I know I've blocked them, and somehow they get unblocked. So
hold on.
You have an in with Meta? Okay.
I'm a tech girly, so I've tried, like, I think I tried searching because I wanted to know about like the what's their Masons, like they had like a whole thing. Yeah, I don't want to say
she responded to that.
So that's what I wanted to see.
She responded. She responded to that though.
Okay, I wanted to see that, so I tried to look at that. I was like, oh crap, they're blocked. I can't even search them.
Mm-hmm.
That's
they're
how
blocked.
good and blocked they are. Yeah.
Well, I'll let you know. I'm only comfortable talking about this because, to your point, I don't want to talk about people's children, and I knew it was stupid anyway. But there was a stupid rumor going around that Mason Disick, which is Kourtney Kardashian's son, her eldest child, had a 1-year-old baby that he had with some girl, obviously, last year, and that they were hiding. And even people went so far as to say that they think that Kourtney's new baby is really Mason's baby.
Lord.
And I already knew that was made up because there was like an account that was posing as Mason, and everyone knows that Mason in the past has logged on the internet and has spilled their actual Kardashian business. But there was no actual digital proof, like with face or him in a thing that could really connect him. So I already knew that was BS. But Kourtney hopped on her Instagram stories and she put up a post and said she usually does not address these wild rumors, but this is about her child, her minor child, and people making videos about this. Like, stop. Like, reminder, they are minors. And I do think people need to be reminded of that. Like, when, like, even myself, I have to check myself. I'm like, there has to be like a moral compass, even with like people like that. Like, I know I'm talking about Alabama Barker and stuff like that, but she is an adult. She is. And she that one is she's just a mess, and she needs to be checked before, like at this early age, before she goes too far with it, which I think she actually kind of has already gone too far with it, but whatever. But that's a Kardashian mess.
I mean, out of all the Kardashians, Kourtney is my favorite.
So are we cool? Like, are we in agreement?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I have to go.
What the heck is A, B, C, D, E, F, G mean?
It's just a phrase I like to use. That means...
Is that a real phrase?
The conversation is over.
I have to say, and the bar's low. But, like, she's my favorite. She has been... I did not appreciate when Kim was like, you know, you're the least, like, what did she say?
Oh, the least interesting to look at. That really
Yeah.
pissed me off. That really did piss me off.
Kourtney carried the Kardashian show on her back for years. Okay?
On her back. Literally, she
back.
We watched
She
her
was on her back.
Nathan out of her.
We literally watched it.
Exactly.
Pulled a baby out of her.
Yes. Between her
She
and Scott
led us into all of the Scott stuff. Like
100%.
She was an open book
Kim,
for a long time.
Kim never showed us her life. So it's just like, I took offense to that. I don't watch her show anymore, but whatever. But I will have to say, out of all of them, Kourtney is my favorite. So
yeah, I would say I don't watch the show anymore either. One, because it's just boring. It's just a boring show. Like, I mean, they're like, it's actually kind of pisses me off because they honestly should have a show in the sense that they have so much stuff like the Alabama Barker thing. That's just one of the many things in the ether of their family stuff that is super interesting. And everybody except for probably Kendall, like nobody cares about Kendall, but everybody has something going on and they have a whole ass show. And I see I watched one episode of the new one on Hulu, I think first season. I'm like, it's just filled with nothing. And I think the one episode that was interesting was the one where Kim and Kourtney actually fought, and it was like actually and not the physical fighting one. It was the one where it was after Kourtney's wedding, and Kourtney was just like, I'm distancing myself from you. I don't like you. Like, because I feel like Kourtney is the only person that's willing to, she's like, if I'm going to have a conversation, I'm going to have a conversation. And I don't like you. I don't like what you stand for. I don't like anything about you.
My girl.
Yes.
100%. I honestly think they should scrap the whole family show and let's just follow Kris around. She has a lot of rich friends and she could be her own housewife show. That is something I'd probably watch.
I wouldn't watch it because Kris is too performative. Like, even when she's on the show, she's never really being herself. And I don't know if I can watch like a whole series on that. Like, she's good in doses, but I think the crux of the people that are interesting is a Kourtney and a Scott. Like, honestly, they give and Khloe too when she's not hiding what's happening.
Yeah, but like Khloe has turned into like him.
Yeah.
Now
she has
just, like. I liked when it was like Khloe and Kourtney.
Absolutely.
Like, I did too. That was the best era.
Yeah.
That was
100%. Like, so like, I don't know.
Yeah. Khloe was my favorite.
Yeah. They just need to pull them off the air. I would love for them to fizzle out into obscurity. Sorry. If that's a hater, I'm a hater.
I mean, they are in my mind because they're blocked.
Okay, yeah.
So, see ya.
That will be the last time we bring up the Kardashians because we're trying to like let them fade.
Yeah.
Please let them go.
And okay, so that was the Kardashian mess. That's the last time he'll ever hear about it. And now there is some more mess that's more relevant to the topic that we're going to be talking about, which is Summer House. What are your thoughts on Hannah Berner and that mess of an interview that Paige and her conducted at the Vanity Fair Oscars post party?
It was horrendous.
What was that?
I mean, does she even
What was that?
She clearly, I'm like, you don't listen to Meg Thee Stallion. Like, I've never listened to a Meg song and wanted to fight. Like, I mean,
it was very unprepared. It was giving very unprepared. And obviously, like, it was just straight up microaggression. A lot of people even going further as far as to say macroaggression.
I mean, yeah.
Because, like, why did she feel the need to, like, it was, and even the way in which she said it too.
When people are talking shit, I go turn on Meg Thee Stallion. Body, yada, yada. I look beautiful. I look so great.
It was like
she was
putting on her best like, black scent or like,
exactly.
I don't know, her whole like thing changed. Like, it was weird. It was a very weird and uncomfortable thing to watch. I think Megan handled that. Yeah, that was crazy. And Paige should be embarrassed. Embarrassed.
She should, but like at some point, it's like, Paige, why do you continue surrounding yourself with these people?
Yeah.
You know, Hannah has literally been the same. And it actually comes up in this, we know it comes up in this episode with Hannah.
Yes,
like,
that's why.
Yeah, at one point, Sierra goes, Kyle, why don't you, and again, Kyle is just a nuance, like he's just a maniac, and so we don't defend him, but like, she's like, why don't you just block Hannah? And it's like, why don't you guys, and I won't say Sierra, but Paige, as Hannah's friend, why don't you call her out and being like, you're constantly out of pocket? Like, enough with the way she just says things that comes to her mind.
Yeah.
And under the veil of, I'm a comedian. Because we've already seen her do this on Summer House with saying to Sierra, oh, don't let the Brooklyn come out of me. Why would you say that to the only Black girl on your show?
It's frustrating. And we're like, as we get into the recap, that is what happened with Hannah on the red carpet with Megan Thee Stallion is what made me change my entire perspective of what I knew what I was going to feel about the episode. And also, what poor fucking timing was that? I mean, like in the sense of, bitch, you were about to have an episode where everyone was geared up to roast Kyle on your behalf, on really Paige's behalf, but you're attached to Paige, so on your behalf as well. I know I was ready. I was geared the fuck up. Geared up.
Yeah.
And then this dropped, like, I feel like, that was on Sunday, just days before the episode, like, ooh, I'm actually really happy because her plan almost fucking worked. Because I was telling you guys, I was like, I think I'm softening to Hannah.
Yep.
I think that I could watch her in doses now. Leave her where the fuck she is, okay?
Yeah,
leave her in her little
truly.
giggly bubble, please.
And that giggly bubble is real because all they do is they are in this echo chamber of women just being like, yes, queen, you're so, like, excusing their behavior. And it's like, at some point, when is enough enough? Because, like, you know, Hannah put up that weird apology on her story.
Oh,
yeah.
You know,
thanks for reminding me. I did take a screenshot of it because, to your point, Shirla. And I'm glad a lot of other people I've been seeing them call this out. They said, like, okay, she puts this really, in my opinion, weak, like, she could have used ChatGPT at least. Like, come on. Like, this was the weakest fucking apology I've ever seen in my life. And it's on your story. And you didn't even, and I checked too, because I was like, okay, she put it on her story, but you can make a highlight reel from your story so then it can stay up. Ain't no highlight reel to be found.
No.
It should have been a highlight reel that says, I'm a dumbass. Like,
well, 100%. But you also have a podcast. So, like, instead
apparently
of,
apparently she said something.
I listened to it.
Okay.
I did listen to the episode. So, one of the, because, like, for me, I'm just like, I am down for people taking accountability, but it's just like, you can't just be like, okay, everybody's coming after me. So now here, damn, I'm sorry. And not being like, I want to improve myself for the better because this will happen again. 110% this will happen again. So at the beginning of, you know how, like, sometimes they do like a disclaimer? That's basically what the beginning of I didn't listen to the whole Giggly Squad because I don't listen to their podcast, but, like, at the beginning, it was like a disclaimer, and she basically just read off her Instagram story, and then they go into the episode, and it's just like, oh my God, how Hollywood were we on the red like, it's just in poor taste. Like, there should have been a dedicated segment about, you know, everybody being like, this is not even her intention. But at this point, I'm like, this is who she is. She does not care.
And the thing is, to your point, I always want people to be able to come back from things like this because I feel like if there's no coming back from anything, then people will refuse to change, learn, or grow. Because I mean, you should just want to do that without getting anything back. But that's just not how people are. And I do want change to happen, and I do want people to reflect. And she's been radio silent up until she made the Instagram story, up until she went on Giggly Squad. And it's been a number of days now for her to not be able to construct something that was a lot more thoughtful. It is telling because, yes, in the moment, do we say stupid things and the intention was not whatever? Sure. I cannot say that, like, even though the intention, whatever your intention was, what happened was it was a microaggression. It doesn't matter. It was a microaggression. And for her not to really take that in and really address that thoughtfully, to me, means that you, one, don't understand the gravity of what you've done. And two, I feel like you are not sorry. You're sorry that people are upset. And that's the worst type of sorry to me.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. She took no accountability. Like there was no accountability. There's no like, okay, this is how I'm going to try and fix this or move forward. And that little blurb took you 4 days. Like,
yeah, like I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it because it was bad.
It's frustrating because it's like, even if you look at the internet, prior to her making this fake apology or her apology, let's not, minimize it, whatever, apology. It took so many people calling her out and watching half the internet defend her and giving her grace, being like, maybe that's not her intention, but who defends Black women?
Yeah, exactly.
You have a woman who has been public about her domestic violence situation. And so you then tell her, who's another Aquarian, like, we don't fight, okay?
And Megan, she put Megan in a really tough spot. And the way Megan was able to navigate her and gave her plenty of opportunity to reel it back. And she took every opportunity to continue to make an ass of herself was just ridiculous. And I personally, I know that there are people who are saying this is why we shouldn't have influencers or like people who don't have journalism degrees interviewing people on the red carpet. I don't agree with that. Because again, like we can go back to the Grammys when there was a journalist that did not do her job well and also made an ass of herself when she disrespected the babyface to talk to Chappelle. I don't even know. Chappelle?
Yeah.
What the fuck's her name?
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know a thing about her.
Yes. I
do know about the babyface though.
And let's all remember that all of Fox 5 News has journalism degrees and they just spew ridiculousness all day. So I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that. There are plenty of people that I've seen. And the thing is, I personally, for one, I don't have a journalism degree, but one of my goals, especially like with starting this podcast, with doing my TikToks and stuff like that, I would love to be able to be a commentator on a red carpet. I'm using this as a way in which to learn and to be able to navigate and do the work it would take. And to me, like, I just feel like it would have been I actually feel like Paige could have done that whole thing by herself and should have. And that is not just because like I don't like Hannah or anything like that. I just don't think that she was qualified to do it in the sense of like Hannah is a stand-up comedian, which stand-up comedians can very well be able to be commentators, but she's like not a stand-up comedian that I think it like is like funny. So she like I think that she's funny within talking to Paige, and I think that she's created a really great dynamic, and I'm not gonna like belittle that. It's very clear, and it's great that she had a little Netflix special. Everyone seems to be able to get one of those nowadays. So that's not even saying much. But I just think that she wasn't like, if you watch the show, you guys watch the show, you know, Hannah. You know, Hannah doesn't care nothing about fashion, doesn't care nothing about like anything, which is a lot of what people talk about. There's other stuff that people talk about too on red carpets, but like that could have been such an amazing opportunity for Paige to really use that knowledge that and passion she has for fashion to really talk about that. And she would have thrived, but she has this like tumor on her that she carries everywhere, and she needs to figure it out.
I also don't like that mindset of blaming other people around Paige. Paige has to take some accountability with the people she surrounds herself with. And also too, Paige, I've watched lots of clips of that. I didn't just watch the Megan Thee Stallion.
They both were interrupting.
And it's like for me, I'm like, I'm not against influencers doing that. Just like not all journalists are required or can actually do that, but you have to do research. They just thought that they could be on their podcast and just wing it. And that to me is like an insult to people who actually do these red carpet interviews. Like they know and study who all is going to be there. They have a list of who they need to interview. And with those lists, they need to know background information versus you coming up and being like, you know, oh, I just like love your like, cracking jokes that you make on the podcast. So like, that is my only thing with the Paige situation and everybody being like, Paige should have done this on her own. Paige would have also been the same way, you know, to me, because she felt a little unprepared in my opinion. But she would be
but
good.
the thing is, I wonder. The thing is, I completely agree. Paige is a grown ass woman, and she at some point needs to look around her and see what is this working. And also, like, I think that Paige, and this is why I have like such a hot and cold relationship with Paige, because part of her is very much similar to Hannah too. And I think that when they get together, it's emphasized. But when she's by herself, I like her the best. I've always said that and I do think that it would have been different. But that's something that Paige has to like make those decisions. Like, that's too bad she made a decision to do it with Hannah, or that's how it was approached. But moving forward, like, I do think that she would have been really well researched if it was true, because it would have been a different energy. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be her like, she's like used to that energy of like giggly squad. And so I feel like she was like, oh, we'll just do what we usually do. Had she been by herself, I think she would have been like, oh, this person's coming. I wonder if they're wearing this. Like, it would have been a completely different vibe. But that's something that to your point, Shirla, she's going to have to like, that at the end of the day, it's her, like, whether you're with Hannah or with anybody else, like, you were also there. You also were contributing to some of those many awkward interviews, and coulda, shoulda, woulda.
I hope so, because I was hearing that a lot of people were saying that before Hannah put out this apology, like they were messaging like in the comments with Paige, and Paige just blocking.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
Oh, I heard that too. Which I don't know if that's true, but like, if it is, it's disheartening, because again, to me, that sends a message that you don't think what Hannah did is bad.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, I don't know what these people were saying, so they could very well have been saying, people on the internet saying anything they want to people. So I don't know what caused the blocker. So it could have been warranted. So I'm trying my best not to judge off that.
Look how you're giving them grace.
Yeah.
If this is the difference that I've noticed, because it's like, one thing is they want to open themselves up to
I'm not giving them grace.
By the way, saying, I'm assuming that we know how crazy people are on the internet. But this is also like what she would be going through in any type of like, she's always had people on her side, period.
Yeah.
And this is now something where it's new territory, where they're outside of the Summer House podcast bubble. And when you disrespect a Black woman because we don't get protected by many people, now you're new to an audience, and this audience are Black women, and the first time seeing you is you disrespecting one of our own. And so we're now coming to you and telling you what your podcast and friend has done, and you were blocking them. And so, and now it's like, okay, well, they could be saying anything, and it's like, let's see the facts.
Yeah.
Because facts are stating they were bringing
you're right.
I
was in that moment giving Paige grace, just because like I wanted to know what she was blocking. Like, it could have been literally had nothing to do with what, like, it could have just literally been like, whatever, like death threat type stuff, which people do all the time. That is different than blocking people who are saying, hey, what Hannah said is a microaggression. And if you blocked someone who said that, then that's telling. So that's why I'm more of like, I want to do more. I want to try to find out, because I do want to hold Paige accountable. I can. It's easier for me to really go in on Hannah, because Hannah's the one who fucking did it. And she's absolutely fucking dead to me. And I cannot wait to get into the episode, because I think I'm already planning on going harder on Paige. To be honest, that's one of my perspectives that's shifted this episode. So I'm starting with grace, but I don't know if that's how it will end. Is the thing. So I'm trying to be soft, because that's what I'm saying. Like,
well, now you want soft.
Yeah, soften. I'm gonna soften the blow, because the blow is coming. The blow is coming.
Okay.
I have a lot of notes.
Ooh.
That's why I had to start this late with you. I had a lot of thoughts.
Okay,
these are my look at.
Oh
my God! Not you writing a whole book.
I have a dissertation. I'm not playing around. I have a lot of thoughts. But generally. But just
to wrap it up, too, like, not to cut you off, just to wrap it up, just like,
no, go ahead.
Do not be sending death threats to anybody.
100%.
Okay? Thank you.
Absolutely.
This is a show.
Even Hannah, like, I don't.
Yes,
that's ridiculous.
It's absolutely.
You can hold people accountable without going that far. That's crazy.
Yes. horrible.
But
like
before,
you can get people's
so-
attention without sending them death threats.
Absolutely.
yeah, it like, and be like, because then I don't like when people go that far, because then the bigger picture, the thing that really needs the attention, gets lost.
Mhm.
And now we're like, well, now they're getting like, that's why I think I'm getting a little bit more annoyed. Like, I hope that it wasn't stuff like that, because that's where the focus is going to go to. And then it's going to victimize them, where I don't want that. I want them to sit in it. I want them to accept that they blew a huge opportunity. And I hope they don't get that opportunity again, because they blew it. They quite literally blew it.
Yeah.
And that's to both of them.
Mhm.
That's to both of them.
I agree. I do not think, because since the majority of the women that are commenting on this and called attention are Black women, I just don't see.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. You know why? Because the day, it was really weird to me. And it was very clear that whoever is on both of their teams was working overtime, because I'm telling you, I saw so many people making videos, of myself included, about how horrible that Hannah's behavior was, how both of their behavior was, but specifically with the Megan Thee Stallion thing with Hannah. And simultaneously, I'm seeing specifically Page 6 TikToks highlighting the same moments that people are like saying are horrible, but with their captions making it sound like it was epic, like they killed it, they crushed it, with the same fucking clip of Megan Thee Stallion. I'll put them in later when I'm editing this, but I was like, what? And it's like, there had been plenty of videos and articles written about the backlash, yet Page 6 is using these same video clips with audio, and in their caption writing, like, they did a great job. And I just saw so many clips from Page 6 with praising how amazing that Hannah and Paige did. So I'm like, that absolutely, they had some PR people working double time for them, and they were trying to change the narrative, and it wasn't changing, which is probably why she had this. I'm about to read her dusty ass apology right now.
And
dusty as fuck.
Cut to the fact of, I'm glad you brought that up, because like, and I know this is like has nothing to do with Summer House, but it has a lot to do with like how the media continues to treat Black women versus, our white counterparts. Meghan Markle's show. That
pisses me off so much.
Exactly. But like, even though there's so much love, there's a subgroup of people who will just continue, and mainly white women, Bethany Frankel, as I'm talking to you, mainly white women,
Bethany.
who just like, no matter what she does, they continue to hate, but yet the media uplifts those comments. And then when you have literally, a white woman in Hannah offending a Black woman.
But what was her, what is Megan's, exactly, but what is Megan, I just don't understand the vitriol that people have for Megan. I mean, I understand it because it's rooted in racism. I know where it's coming from. But it's just so interesting to me, because it's like, what are the crimes that she has committed? She married a prince. She has a family. They seem to have a great relationship. And then she has a new show, right? I've seen, maybe not the prince part, but a lot of celebrities, they have the same type of life, and they get a show. Like, look at Hailey Bieber. She has her show that she does from her like fake bathroom, because it's a set. Selena Gomez. To me, they're all the same generic thing. And I haven't watched Megan's show, so I don't know if it's good or not in context, but it doesn't matter, because guess what? Even if it's bad, like, who cares? Like, why is this a headline?
It's not bad. It has a lot to do with the fact that the world is not used to Black women getting things that they desire. And for years and years, they feel, the subgroup of white women feel that Megan had taken something from them. They all thought that they could marry
all those movies.
Yeah. Like,
every time we have one Disney princess. Every single Disney princess is a white woman. And so the dreams of like,
and she spent most of the damn movie as a fucking frog.
Exactly. And so like the vision and the dream of a princess does not look like a Black woman. And the fact that she can sit in luxury pisses them off. We're supposed to be working hard. We're supposed to be being disrespected. And so they feel like she took something from them. And it pisses them off. So this is living.
Yeah.
I've seen 2 episodes. I want a garden and a cottage like her.
Absolutely.
Well, you need to call Leslie, which is my mama, because she's already like, have you watched it? My mom is so obsessed with Megan in an unhealthy way.
I love her.
Unhealthy.
I love
I love her too, but
Not like
nobody
Leslie?
loved Megan more than Leslie. Oh my God. It's like to the point where I'm like, she kind of makes me not want to watch the show because it's just like she is like the way that this woman can work Megan into a conversation needs to be like could be talking about like the most random thing and somehow she figures out how to work. I'm telling you, it is ridiculous. But
I love that.
so, but Shirley just put the stamp of approval because I can't be trusting Leslie because she listens to the podcast. She has her hands on anything, Megan. I hope she runs into her one day. I really do. She would just die.
I wish that for her.
Yeah, I do. Let's put that in like the universe for her.
Yeah. Megan, if you're listening,
that might be my morning. Yeah, Leslie, if you're listening, Leslie, I agree with you. So I'm with you because
I'm gonna watch it because you said it was good, Shirley. So I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah. It's like not for like. It's good to see a Black woman just live out her, like Megan also used to have a lifestyle blog before this. And so it's like good to see her
Shirley.
just like chill and just like invite her friends over, pick from her garden and cook for them. I'm like, this is a luxury I want. So I would like this for myself.
Totally.
That's
I think the funny thing is, like, I know I said like there's a lot of celebrities that have the same generic show, but the difference to me, even though I haven't watched the show, and what I was interested until Leslie made me a little uninterested with her overexcitement, was the fact that that's no shade to Megan though. Is the fact that we don't see Black women in these spaces, showing us luxury, and I want to see it. I think people want to continue to put Black women specifically in this box of loud, aggressive, or like the funny comedic relief. And they don't want to see them as the ingenue, the lead. And it disrupts them. And you know what? Megan, keep disrupting those bitches.
Keep making them uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
To end this segment so we can go into things, because summer should be fun. I'm gonna end on this apology from Hannah was not fun and must be read.
Oh yeah.
Here is a reading from Hannah Berner's dusty ass apology to no one. Okay. Interviewing Megan Thee Stallion was a dream of mine. I love her music and it's my go-to whenever I need to boost my confidence before a show. This is definitely ChatGPT. And that was the first go through too. Like when you just put it in a little bit and you're supposed to kind of keep getting revisions, but she was like, that's good enough. Yeah. Looking back at the interview, I wish I used any other word except fight in quotations to describe how her songs impact me. It was a careless choice of words. And though there was no ill intent, I recognize and acknowledge buzzwords that what I said has a deeper meaning. And I am sorry to Megan. I appreciate everyone who brought this to my attention. Hannah Berner, use the word microaggression, please.
Exactly.
Address what it is.
Exactly.
If you're gonna say thank you for bringing it to my attention, bring what?
Yeah.
What did we bring?
Yeah, she's still dancing around it. Like she's not fully being like, "This is what I did." It's just kind of like, "Oh, I guess you guys brought to the attention that I shouldn't have done this." But like, I can't tell if it's
like
actually
oopsies
impacted.
Right. 100%.
Yeah, and she nowhere in that apology says thank you for like there are parts in here where she could have had opportunity to say like thank you for bringing it to my attention because as I'm learning as a privileged white woman, words do matter and words coming from me matter to who I'm speaking to even more, especially when it comes to Black women or any other minority. And I absolutely acknowledge, accept, and want to improve myself that what I said to Megan Thee Stallion was a microaggression. Whether I meant it to be or not, that is what it was. And I have to accept that and I have to do better moving forward. Yeah. That's the level I needed her to be in before I could even be open to seeing if she was like, this isn't show growth.
No,
this shows
not at all.
regression.
It's showing, again, a here damn, take it, because you guys have been complaining, and this will happen again, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to listen to the giggly thing because it's probably going to make me more mad. I'm glad I didn't before because Paige really would probably get it in this recap.
Oh, Paige, good luck, girl.
The silence was deafening.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Okay.
And and it kind of goes into what Kyle was saying a little bit. Like,
thank you. That's where we're going to be going.
Yeah, like,
that's where we're going to be going.
What do you believe, Paige? Like, you got to at some point you have to take a stance on some of these things. These are big issues. Like even the Catholic, like you got to take a stance because who you're loyal to shows who you are. And like, now we have to.
It's important.
100%. Even when she had made, I think we talked about this last time, but like the comment that she had made in, I guess, the last episode saying like how Kyle comes to her to talk crap about Amanda. And it's like, why does he feel comfortable doing that? Coming to you to talk about his wife?
I've even changed my perspective of that from last week too, after watching this episode. I have. Okay, so let's start at the top before we get to the juicy bits. So off the bat, I mean, I've watched the episode 2 times through, so I obviously didn't know this at first, but I realized after watching it the second time, not the first time, I realized there was no Gabby and there was no Bailey.
No.
Oh, Bailey been gone.
And that's bad that it took me the second watch to realize.
They did address the Bailey thing. Like,
the Bailey. The Gabby one,
Wait, when?
They did, because
Emerald or someone.
Yeah, Jesse goes like, where's Bailey? And then Lexi goes, she's having
boyfriend problem. So we'll probably never see her again.
Okay, completely missed that.
It's a blink and you'll
Even
miss
on
it
this
thing.
production.
Yeah, like it's quick.
Okay. Because I feel like I pressed the remote and I went and got water.
It could have been that.
Both times. But I was like, I'm going to take notes. But I literally was like, there's no way I can miss anything in the first. Like, they must have said it like immediately. Because I started my notes with Danielle's annoying. So.
Yeah, that's not wrong.
I did. I said Danielle immediately being a hater. That was my first note.
I don't understand. Like, again, Lindsay's so used to that lady insulting her that she just like, this is friendship. That lady is your biggest op.
She really is. She
does not
really
want Lindsay to be happy.
Is.
And she was her best.
No, she doesn't.
Was Lindsay's sidekick. Like when she was just like rooting Lindsay on. I feel like that's when people loved Danielle the most. Was like, and so I don't know if she was just like, I don't want to be known as like Lindsay's friend, and so she just like took a hard turn. But like, it's not a good look.
It was we all hyped her up, and I am one of the people that did, and I regret it. When she stood up for Lindsay during the Sierra Austin thing and she took that glass to the chest, I said, what are we doing?
Absolutely.
But
her best
but
scene.
then, and I really was very indifferent to Danielle before that. And then I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I like that she stepped in for her friend when there was a whole house full of people against her. But then I quickly realized that one, she got a taste of what it's like to be people talking about her, and now she can't. She's like craving it. She's so thirsty for it. And then 2, I realized that she is one of those type of people that don't do things like now in retrospect, she didn't do that for Lynn. She did that for herself. She's a person that gets gratification for doing something nice for someone and then having to be able to say, I did that for you.
Yeah.
Like she does it to say later on, but I did this and like list it off to you. She doesn't just do it to be a friend. Like, which is why to me, she's much different and a better friend, or Lindsay's a better friend because Lindsay doesn't need those type of gratifications, such as not telling everybody at that reunion that you're the one who leaked the Craig stuff.
100.
Like, completely. The only reason she even brought it up was because Paige was insistent when even the next summer about that point. So it got to a point where Lindsay was like, listen, if we're going to be able to move forward like I want to, I have to be honest with you. I did not do it. And I know that because I know who did.
Yeah.
And there you go.
It literally goes back to like what, Pia, I feel like we talk about this a lot, like how we split up people between nice and kind. And like Danielle's the typical nice person. Like on surface, they do things for you so someone can pay them a compliment. And like, as much as you may hate Lindsay's actually kind. So it's just like, she has friends, those type of friendships for a reason. Like she goes above and beyond for her friendships. Is she mean to men?
What have you done for me?
I haven't done anything.
Nothing. All the things I do for you.
What are you talking about?
How many sandwiches have you made for me?
My schedule?
How many sandwiches have you made for me? I'm pretty sure you haven't made me one sandwich.
Absolutely. But does that mean she's a mean person?
That ain't got nothing to do with me, though. I like it.
100%. And she should be mean to all these Bravo men, as she should. But she will again, her having the whole stage attack her for her to hide the fact that it was actually Danielle who had been, brought the cheating rumors on camera, or, was the one who spoke about Greg. Like, she protects her friends. And so, like, that is where it's like, this is why.
Even when they're not in a good place.
Yeah.
Even when they're not in a good place.
Because Lindsay had every opportunity within the time of the reunion, after the reunion, before they got back into the summer house, to tell Paige this. She could have literally told Paige at any point. And I honestly think that she would have kept it to this day had Paige not been so aggressive towards her about this, and that being the crux of why she can't move forward with Lindsay. And Lindsay, she desperately wanted to move forward with Paige. And people can and I finally have proof, because the proof is in the pudding this season, of where Paige and Lindsay's friendship is going. And we saw it later in the episode as we'll get to that. So it's she has always really wanted to have a genuine friendship with Paige, but they had to get past a lot of whatever their issues were. And that was one of them. And she had to make the decision, and she still felt bad about it. And she did have to tell Danielle, I had to tell her. I had to tell her.
Yeah. Even the difference of how they handle, to your point when you're saying, when they were in that bad place, how Lindsay, kept a lot of things to herself. But meanwhile, Danielle told her all her ops, oh, Lindsay talks crap about you. That is when I was just like, I can't with this lady.
Danielle, that's what Danielle does. Danielle wants to be seen as the good friend, where Lindsay is just a good friend. Where Danielle is about putting on that perception to other people.
Mm-hmm. And she really took the opportunity to go to a group of women who were waiting to see the downfall of Lindsay because of whatever their experience is with her. And I mean, the moment she could, she threw her under the bus. And for what? Why? Why are you doing that? Because she's annoyed with you right now because you keep inserting yourself into her relationship and she's not taking the advice that you're giving. That is all it took.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Let's think about really what was going on and what the argument was about, and then how she moved. Can you imagine? You'd have thought that Lindsay literally did something crazy to her when she was the one doing the crazy thing to Lindsay. And all Lindsay was doing was kind of just backing away from the friendship a little bit, because that's how she was feeling in the moment. And instead of letting her have space or really trying to talk it out, she goes immediately to her ops, like you said, Shirla. Mm-hmm. And I don't trust people like that. I don't. I will. And also, it's so funny. Those same people that she was getting consoled with, Danielle getting consoled with, and that were feeding into her delusions that Lindsay isn't a good friend. And what has Lindsay done for you? And here we go, Paige. I'm starting up with you. Not to go too far, not to go all the way to the end and stay on this, but I really wanted to see what Danielle was going to do during that whole thing. And she did absolutely nothing but try to go out with Imrul. Is that his name?
Yeah.
The whole time. She didn't check on Paige. She didn't even attempt to see, she did nothing.
She didn't check on anybody.
And that's so interesting to me. I understand that they might not be as close, but definitely know these people, and there's something crazy happening in the house. People are literally crying all over the house, and are we still going out? That's the type of bitch she is.
Yeah. She's just anything for.
That's the type of bitch she is.
She's trying to hook up with
Jaleeza's.
She was
100%
the whole time, and then we already knew that. We already called that from last week.
Her eyes were just tunnel vision. And to Jaleeza's point,
tunnel vision.
She's performative at this point. She's just this is what's going to make good TV, and this is how I'm going to get back on the show.
I mean, meanwhile, Lindsay's checking
so
on Paige. Who's the better friend here?
Exactly. And
even Paige was surprised.
I know. That was actually a really great moment that I'm glad got captured, and I'm glad that they kept in because it really shows like I feel like maybe the real like we saw Paige and Lindsay going shopping for maternity clothes, which was beautiful. But that moment was so much like more impactful to me because that's years of tension. That's years of Paige being skeptical of Lindsay's intentions, and that was the first time I think maybe even Paige really was like, "Does Lindsay care about me?"
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I'm glad we got to see it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to see it.
And you could tell that was a real moment too because of the camera angle too. So that was the camera that was in the bedroom, not like the people walking around. So it's like it wasn't just like a moment. Like Lindsay's like, oh, the camera people are on Paige. Let me go in there. Like, no, she knew that Paige was by herself. She was looking for her. The camera people were already downstairs, still filming the table because Kyle was still going at it. And she really just like did that at the goodness of her heart. Like, let me go find her and just check on her.
Yeah. And speaking of checking, I think I've told you guys this before, but I like to try to keep up to see things that are happening on social media with them, just to fill in blanks and see where people are currently. And it seems as if Lindsay and Paige are still in a good place, to the point where I believe when Lindsay just had her baby, someone asked out of the cast, who has checked in on you the most? And she said Paige.
Oh, I love that.
She said Paige.
We've been wanting this for so long.
Yeah. So I am very hopeful for that relationship to continue to flourish, and I hope it does.
So too.
And also, I thought that Lindsay's scavenger baby reveal was very cute, well thought out, and Danielle is also a double hater for stating the obvious. Like, she's like, and also trying to like stir up some shit. Like, I really did not like that one. The low hanging fruit dig about Turner not being there.
Yeah.
We know, that Turner is not there because Turner does not want to be on the show.
Yeah.
That is the only reason he's not there. So you're saying that to, one, poke holes into Lindsay's new relationship and try to imply that it's a ridiculous relationship. That's what I got from it by saying that. And then also saying how weird it is that she's doing a scavenger hunt when he's not there, and in perpetuating or even putting into a possibility, knowing the fans don't really like Lindsay that much and will villainize her for anything, that she's possibly doing this to piss Carl off. That is fucked up, because like that, I could have easily seen that being picked up and people running with that. And thank God that the scavenger hunt went really well and everyone was being normal, and so it didn't end up going that route. But like,
yeah, I agree.
How dare you? Don't say that.
No, and they all had so much fun doing it. Like, it's just
even
like,
Carl. Even Carl. And I wrote that. I said one nice thing about Carl. I said, I will give Carl credit.
Same. Because I would not. That would not be me.
Because that would have been awkward for me.
I would have been in my room.
100%.
He really did a good job, and I actually felt like it was genuine.
Mm-hmm.
And 100%. I think I wrote two nice things. And I think that he did it because I think that he obviously probably had conversations with Lindsay about having children, and I don't know for sure. I'm just speculating, but I'm sure she's probably talked about having like a little girl. So I feel like that was indicative of why he picked that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was special, and it was just enough. And he didn't need to say that. I got to be able to write my own like version of it, and I like that he gave me just enough.
I agree. I mean, I think people forget that these two have been friends for a decade. Like, they were clearly better off friends than in a romantic relationship. And it's like, of course, it's awkward and weird, but like, I think hopefully what we will see is that their friendship will just like keep sneaking in there, where you realize they truly do care for each other. And like, yes, it didn't work out, but like, he has to get over, he knows that they don't belong together, but he needs to get over that spite that he has against her, I guess, because she was able to move on so quickly. Yeah. But once he gets over that, it's like, y'all are be able to be like great friends. Like, and this showed in this episode too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that this is what the Vanderpump Rule cast thought they could accomplish, like the dynamic they thought they could accomplish. Because, I think the biggest difference is Sandoval was just the clear villain in that, right? Yeah. And
situation.
in what happened between like Lindsay and Carl, besides the way he ended it, it was just two people that should not have been getting married. He did not handle the end correctly at all, but he's not a villain per se. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not like, that's not a Sandoval level. I don't think that in any world there would have been a world where Ariana would have been able to work with Sandoval. I can understand a world where Lindsay and Carl could not have. It is really big what happened, calling off a wedding. That's a huge thing. But to your point, they had a real ass friendship for a long time. So there was a foundation there where Sandoval and Ariana, although they were friends, I know people be like, they were friends. Not really. Like, they were coworkers that flirted, and Sandoval always and so they didn't have an actual genuine, like, no, like, we want to hook up. It was all, so there was an actual friendship that was established, cultivated, and worked on. And they mistook that for a romantic relationship. And they quickly realized that was, or Carl at least realized that was not correct. And Lindsay knew, she just didn't want to say it out loud.
Exactly. 100%. Yeah. It was good to see. I loved it.
Yeah. So then we get the big gender reveal. It's a girl. It's a girl. Do you know what the girl's name is? I was
Gemma.
Do you know what she ended up?
Yeah. And she's, from what we can see, she's so cute.
She's so
Aww.
Yeah.
I hope that Lindsay did not make Danielle the hater a godmother. Oh, God. Good Lord. I hope she is not a godmother.
I feel like, I don't think so. I think she, because what we saw from like the engagement, like, episode.
Yeah, she has really good friends.
100%.
Oh, hold on. Penn is acting up. Hold on. Penn, you blew it. You're going in the room.
Penn. We see I can. Oh, I like this like 2-set suit. How are you doing, Jaleeza?
Good. Packing, driving up to Asheville later today. So
Asheville? Yeah. How was that drive?
9 hours. So we're going for a long weekend.
Well, then you're going to sit here?
Where's Asheville?
North Carolina? North Carolina?
Oh.
I don't know.
Asheville.
Hello?
Oh, okay. Hey.
Okay.
That was such a mom look.
Put him in prison.
Because I was going to put him in the room, but he's like, he already knew. He was like, I'm going to start over. And he's like, he has a little stuff on the couch. It's like, I'm going to be in my corner. I'm going to be quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, he's side-eyeing me too. That's okay. That is okay. Be mad. So yes, Gemma.
Mm-hmm.
Gemma. That's a cute name. I also loved in the details of the scavenger hunt. Like, she also put like summer house trivia in there.
Yeah.
I thought that was so entertaining to watch. Like,
I loved
the
it.
Kyle crying thing, the bed bugs, and even she made fun of herself in that, because that's how it becomes not me, when you also make fun of yourself. When she was like, where did I go to escape? And it was the fence stuff. And I also feel like, again, to go back to Danielle, the reason why we all know as viewers the reason why the reason why Lindsay did the scavenger hunt. It's because it's a great moment for TV. It's a great way for her to tell the cast, you blew it again, damn it.
Oh. I'm on the other show. Let him have a segment.
Let Penn be a part of the show, for crying out loud.
He too has feelings about Lindsay. Maybe Penn has some feelings about Lindsay. Why can't he doesn't get to share
I know. Is Penn Carl?
I know. Is he like, I am actually a Carl.
Actually, Penn actually might be Danielle, child.
Oh my, no, do not. Penn is a good boy. He is a good boy.
Mm-hmm.
He is a good child. Okay. He needs to take a break. Yeah, he's having a moment. But no, like it was very clear that Lindsay was trying to, this was a cute way of her being able to share with her castmates her baby, the gender of her baby. And she already had established that she knew the gender, that Turner knew the gender, and that they had already shared it with their close family and friends. So it wasn't like weird. No. It wasn't a weird thing to do. And it was also an entertaining thing to do. So, like, again, Danielle, like, this is why you are fired, because you don't understand how things work. Like,
what makes it worse is that she said this in her green screen interview. So the whole summer has already happened, and not only has the whole summer happened, but this game has already happened. So this is your recap of that day, knowing that nothing bad happened and that Carl enjoyed himself. The whole cast enjoyed themselves. So you still take that opportunity to make a dig for what?
Yeah.
See, that's a good point, Shirla. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize that those confessionals are not like real world confessionals. Like if anybody ever is old enough to remember that show, where they would literally in real time go into a confessional booth and say things. So they were their feelings in the moment. These confessionals are often filmed months after they've wrapped, and actually, they usually are filming while the show is airing, and the editors are just putting them in. So they even can get feedback. And I think that's actually what happened, to be honest with you, because before the season started, people were saying little things about Lindsay being in the house and being and pregnant. So I feel like that gave Danielle the light. Like I think she's trying to earn her spot back, right? She's trying to secure being a cast member again for the other season. So I think she is just playing it up for the cameras and trying to get that Q rating up. Thank you, Kyle, for explaining what that is. And she wants to be rehired, and she's willing to throw Lindsay under the bus to do it, per usual.
Of course, that is her. And she probably sees that Gabby's Q rating might not be the best. And so
I know and she's like,
so she's thinking like, oh, there's going to be an open spot because like they can naturally just add me back in if they just get rid of Gabby.
I literally wrote on here, you see that? No Gabby, and that she's like going to replace Danielle's trying to replace her. I said, I fear this might be Gabby's last season.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
I'm sorry. I can't even feel bad for her. She's not trying. She's not. I saw an interview with her saying, because like someone asked her, what did you think about Carl's response to your response of saying that she doesn't understand why Carl's on the show and that he's not bringing much? And then his response on Watch What Happens Live to that being like, I think that I've been here on the show for 10 years and I do have things to give. And I would argue that she did not give anything. And then her response to that was, okay. Literally, she said, okay. And she's like, maybe he's right. I probably didn't. I was like, bitch.
She could take it or leave it. She's not trying to be on.
She was like, only really Lindsay knows a lot what was going on with me that summer, and I didn't really share what was going on because that's the way I deal with things. I wasn't really open. Only Lindsay really knew. And I'm like, well, like, and Lindsay, as we talked about, she's not a person that's going to go and tell anybody business.
No, 100%. But if
it was Danielle, she would have told your business. So it would have been on TV.
I think Gabby has to understand that it's a shared house. So you can't just isolate yourself to one person, and it can't be, if Lindsay's in the house, that I'll be in the house and like I'm only friends with Lindsay and like we're not seeing you interact with other people, which is unfortunate. It could also be with like maybe production has decided we just don't want to show Gabby because they did talk about, I don't know if it was this episode or last episode. Maybe it was this episode, but like Jesse and all of them had hung out in the city at a bar and Gabby was there. But I don't think they showed that footage. So they do hang out. So maybe they're just cutting out the parts where Gabby is hanging out with them, which is unfortunate.
But the thing is, it's like if she was doing something worth putting on TV, they wouldn't cut it out.
Yeah.
So it's like they're cutting it out because it's boring, probably. Like I don't think it's because production doesn't like Gabby. And I gather it's what I'm saying because she literally goes on in that same interview to say like, I understand that that's like we're making a reality show, so like the way I handle things and me not opening up and being transparent, that's not really like a watchable thing.
Yeah.
So like she's literally saying I did do nothing. And I think that's why Carl said it. He was like, she did nothing.
Yeah,
she brought nothing.
Maybe she's not
and
made
so, and I'm sorry, it's season 3, babes. Like we've given you opportunities. You know how the show works. You had more than enough time to get comfortable. And I just don't think reality TV is meant for her. I just don't. And I get it. I wouldn't want to be on reality TV too. I don't want people in my business. But if you sign up for a show, you have literally put yourself in the position of putting your business out there.
Yeah. You either have to put your business out there or you have to be messy. Okay. You
Yeah.
can't be like not putting your business out there and then not messy.
You
Like,
can't just be a normal
no.
person.
Yeah.
Like you have to give.
Exactly.
You have to
No.
give us something.
You have to give psychopath. You know, we need
Yeah, like especially with your particular cast, you have a Kyle Cook, you have Paige, you have Lindsay. You're amongst a lot of big person now. Like, look at Wes. Like,
Okay, what's the minimum bid?
$25K, the same price was in 2019.
I could not afford that right now.
He is funny.
That was funny. Okay.
Listen,
there are big personalities that are in your house. Like, you need to do something to stand out. And being Lindsay's sidekick, and I hate to say that, is not enough. Especially because Lindsay doesn't need one. It's the problem. It's like, she's a woman. She is a one-woman show. She does not need anybody. She doesn't need anybody. She was fine before Danielle and before Gabby. She never needed anybody. Like,
yes, Lindsay is Summer
Lindsay
House.
is made for TV.
She is Summer
Like
House.
she just
She really is.
Lady. I could watch Lindsay on just like any type, like she could just I just want her to put some type of security camera on her and I could
just give us a
watch
live
her all day.
stream. Of
I know.
100%.
I am so, like, love her or hate her. You cannot tell me you're not entertained by her. Come on.
The fact that she created a scavenger hunt and got her ex-fiance to participate, she's queen.
And she set up so many moments for people to use, like a yes and type of situation, because later in the episode, when everything blows up, Kyle absolutely said, I am going to go back to the car and cry, but this time I'm leaving too. Like, I was like,
it was great.
Like,
she is
a great hand on it.
producer. Truly, she is a producer. This is like, all these people, like, what is her place on this show?
She is the show. What are you talking about? Like, and I don't normally like when they produce.
Everybody's saying like summer needs to be fun, and they're having fun. They literally, Sierra said, "This was actually fun."
I know. I meant to bring that up because Sierra was trying to be a hater at first too, and she realized, she's like, no, actually, this is a good idea. That was I should have gave it a chance. I'm gonna be wrong on that. And Sierra ain't never say she wrong about nothing. So that's how you know it was fun.
Never said she wrong about nothing.
And she's like, actually, I'm enjoying myself.
Right. Lindsay, she hyped up her skirt and she said, let's go. Because she knows
I am enjoying myself.
100%. Like, and they're like, and also too, like, it kind of goes back to Paige was saying last episode how like the new members feel so young, and this is like my first time feeling like old. And so I feel like Lindsay recognized that, like, yes, I'm pregnant, so I can't drink. So it's like, how do I have activities where we're not just binge drinking or throwing a party? Like, how can I make this different? But also too, make it about me, because, you know, it is about
and
me.
entertaining
and it's
for the audience as well.
Exactly. 100%. Like, also even when she announced, you know, about her pregnancy, she's like, here's the backstory. Because I know they're going to do a montage.
She knew how. And she, exactly.
See, this is all I
loved it.
Me too.
I loved it.
I want to do that.
That was a really great point, Shirla. Wait,
do that for your wedding. Let's a scavenger hunt. Let's just like
and a montage.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun. Let's do that. Okay, let's put that in the idea box. Okay. But yeah, no, that was a really, really good point that you made, Shirla, because that was a big question mark for everybody, including myself personally, of like, how is this going to work with a very pregnant person in the house when this is a house that is supposed to be like a rager. This is a party house. And Jesse was one of the main people to say it out loud. And I'm glad that Lindsay figured out a way to make it make sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like only Lindsay could do that. And not make us annoyed. Like bringing, like, I'm not annoyed by her pregnancy. And like, I was quite literally annoyed by like Sheena and Lala when they always like, I'm a mother. I'm like, I don't care. Like, why does that make you have to be a bad friend? Like, or like talk about people backstab? Like, what does that have to do with motherhood? Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
and you don't think that Lindsay didn't know about them rage texts? Because remember, we found out about the rage text when Kyle was DJing.
And Lindsay was there.
You don't think exactly. So Lindsay created an opportunity for that to happen, i.e. the dinner.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Paige didn't run that by Lindsay.
Oh,
like
100%.
privately. I wouldn't be surprised, like, because I feel like she was very comfortable and confident. I think that's why she even made a joke about it in the last episode. Like, I'm going to be doing it at Lindsay's dinner, because I feel like she's like, heads up, Lindsay, I am going to confront Kyle at your dinner. Is that cool? Is that poor timing? Should I do it another time? She's like, no, break the ice. I'll rather your drama than me and Carl, because I'm going to be making him do a scavenger hunt for my baby. So yes.
Exactly. This was 100%. Lindsay absolutely knew, because there's no way she was going to bring up those texts when Kyle is DJing. That's boring, and they're out in public.
Which is also
we need something
a good. I'm going to give Paige credit. That was actually kind of her to not do that at his event, because most people wouldn't have waited. So that's why I'm hot and cold with her. She has all the ingredients of me liking her, but sometimes it just goes bad.
Same.
And
I'm the same way. Yeah.
So then the baby reveal, everybody dresses in pink, gets their best pink outfit on, and we're going to a really well decorated backyard baby reveal dinner. A chef, I like the touches of the chef. Everything was great. The atmosphere was perfect. And I couldn't wait for Paige to bring this up, and I could just see her trying to figure out how she was going to organically get on that, and it was really fun to watch. Like I felt I saw her stutter step a couple times. Like, no, not yet, not yet. That's not the hook.
But then that man kept irritating her soul. Everything he was doing, breathing, she's like, oh God, I can't stand him. Can't wait to bring it up.
I was like, bring it up, just say it, just blurt it out. But before she does that, there's we get a quick glimpse into what I think is the beginning of the end of the Jesse and Lexi short-lived relationship. It's very clear Jesse is realizing that he has gotten himself into something that he was not ready for, which is fine. Like, but I think that Jesse underestimated Lexi. I think she thought that she just would want to have fun, and he was just not expecting her to be really like mature in the sense of, and he might not think it's mature, but I think it's mature in knowing that when she's talking to somebody, that she only wants to talk to that person, and that she doesn't particularly care for the person that she's talking to be sending flirtatious, whether you mean it sincerely or not, messages to other people. Boundaries. These are called boundaries. And Jesse, and also Jesse doesn't have to, that may be not how he moves in relationships. So that's not how he wants to be in a relationship. And that's fine. But I hope right now, I'm not mad at anybody, but I foresee myself being probably in the minority with this. Probably not with you guys, but I foresee myself being annoyed with Jesse when the relationship ends. I think that he is going to do a typical fuckboy move, and he's going to try to irritate her into her not liking him anymore. So he's not, and force her to break up with him. So he's not the bad guy. I think that's what's going to happen. And I think that's why we have these like weird edits, or like edits that make it seem like Sierra and Jesse are going to be hooking up, because Sierra went on to like an interview and said, and put it out there. She's like, I did not hook up with Jesse. There was nothing there. There was nothing ever there. That's editing. And I think it's because Jesse is probably going to be the one that is flirting with Sierra. And I think he's doing this because she's the only single person in the house. And he wants to do the thing that he knows would be it for Lexi, to force her into like stop liking him. I think, but what he's going to do probably is like make Lexi confront Sierra, because she's going to think that Sierra's playing into it. I think that's what's going to happen. That's my prediction.
Oh, for sure. It's like she's already told him, whether you agree with it or not, that she is a jealous person. She doesn't like that he makes these comments. And so now he's just going to double down in doing it.
Yeah.
And just be like, well, I don't agree with that. And I don't want to change. Like he said it, I don't want to change for a person. And so he's just, it's what we were irritated with Carl last season. It's like, it's fine if you were like, this doesn't work out for me, and that I got in deep. It's when you start laying down the groundwork to paint a different picture, and then try to get her to break up when you just don't have the balls to do it yourself.
I mean,
and it's already working.
No,
go ahead, Jaleeza.
I was just going to say, like, it's just a classic case of he wants his cake and to eat it too. Like, she laid out what she wants and needs very clearly. sounded like it was very mature. And he's like, okay, I don't want to do that, but I still want to hook up with you.
Exactly.
And so, like, who's the immature
But
one
he
in this
hasn't
situation?
said that to her yet,
Correct.
though.
No,
He's saying it to everyone
exactly.
but her.
Yes. And we're
literally
seeing
Carl, literally
Wes. He
Wes.
said it in the car on the way to the beach. And he even said, like, I should probably be having this conversation with Lexi. Instead, he's having the conversation in a car full of the other Summer House people without her there. Like, so he's not.
And it was, and
doing the
I
same
thought,
thing she is.
Exactly. And I thought that was when I knew, for me, that's what the car ride to the beach was what solidified. And it's not what he said. It's the fact that he didn't ride in her car. That I didn't even need to hear anything. And because that to me sent a signal. He's doing breadcrumbs right now. On paper, that is like, oh, whatever. It's like, whatever. He just went in with the first available car. No. Because it's the way in which he went out of his way to be all over her those first couple weekends. It's showing signs. He's trying to subtly, so it doesn't go get too crazy too quick, that he's distant, he's backing up, you know what I mean? And we've all been there. We know, I'm not a fucking idiot. I know exactly what that means. You went in another car after this woman tells you she's already a jealous person. She wants you to stop posting on these same group of women's messages or posts saying how hot they are, and you are in you could have been like, hey, Wes, who's in the other car, can I switch with you? It would have been super simple. I know that's such a small thing, but I'm telling you, it's going to all fucking add up. So I'm just like, that's my first little tiny clue of what's to come with that whole situation.
Yeah, it's literally the same thing that Carl did last year, where it's just like,
it is.
You're painting a picture and you want it to be like, the reason why this didn't work out is because of her. And it's like,
yeah.
Well, then Lexi's going to look like the crazy one because he's having these conversations with everybody else. So everyone else is going to assume, oh, if he's having these conversations with us, she must know, right? And then she's going to be the last to find out. And then she's going to end up looking crazy.
Yeah, by blowing up on whomever.
Yeah,
probably Sierra. And the thing is, what it irritates me too, which is great comparison. And Carl and Jesse not only look very similar, they very much act similarly. And the audience very much treat them similarly by allowing them to be a victim, because you have the women that they decide to date who are much louder, much more upfront about their feelings, matter of fact and unapologetic about it, right? And I've already seen people try to paint this girl as crazy when I don't. I truly think that she is just simply stating her boundaries. And again, I think you said, Jaleeza or Shirla, it's like whether you agree with them or not, those are her boundaries, and he's absolutely able to walk the fuck out of the door if he doesn't like that. But I think that the audience want to empathize or sympathize or put the baby to them, because Carl, he's sober, so you have to be careful and coddle his feelings. Jesse just beat cancer, and so of course he doesn't want to settle down with the first person. He wants to really embrace the fact that he's cancer free, which is an amazing thing. But at the end of the day, you still need to be the other people have feelings too, and you need to just be honest. That's all people are asking for, is just to be honest. And you don't have to turn people into villains to also live authentically to yourself. So that's where they're going to lose it for me. I'm glad you're cancer free, and I also agree. If you don't want to be in a relationship, get that, just say that. And or you just don't or maybe it has something to do with being cancer free, and it's just I just don't like her. Also say that. It doesn't but say something.
Yeah. It's Jaleeza just said this too. He wants to have his cake and eat it too, where it's he doesn't want to be in a relationship with her, but he wants to hook up with her. And so he feels oh, I have to, these are her boundaries, so I have to abide by her boundaries and pretend like we're exclusive, but we're not. And it's just it's weird. Just literally all we're asking is to say these things to her.
Yeah, just be honest.
All we're asking.
It's really not that hard.
That is literally all it takes. And I understand they're in a pressure cooker in a sense. It's easy for us to look at it and say these things, but I truly feel that's how I would be operating regardless. But I get that, I feel in the back of their head, and even just watching whatever happened with Wes and Sierra, a part of him is I don't want to go through that.
Yeah.
I don't want to go through that. So I have to figure out a way. Yeah.
Oh, he said it. He was I don't want to experience this, a breakup in the shared house. It's you've seen it time and time again. So it's
but then don't.
I think at the end of the day, Agreed. I mean, Sierra told him. What did she say?
He's been warned.
Don't shit where you eat. Yeah.
Shit where you eat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what
Or
she
don't
said.
don't eat where you sit. Where you shit.
No, don't shit where you
Okay.
eat.
I don't know.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
You said it better though, so that I believed it.
What I was saying, child. But
we was mumbling and bumbling over here.
I was like,
shit at all.
And you're like, correct. That's a friend. That's a friend.
Correct.
You can tell me after off.
We'll talk about it later.
Correct. Yeah.
So wait, okay, where did we leave off? Oh, so
Jesse.
okay, so no, because we kind of skipped ahead. We haven't even talked about the fight yet.
Oh yeah,
because we went to the we went on a side. We kind of like
the
we kind of summed up what's going to happen with Jesse. So that was a little combo. We kind of went to the end a little bit because that was like how it kind of ended was at the beach and then that cliffhanger. But which I hate cliffhangers. I literally wrote that I hate cliffhangers. But I want to end the recap on the fight because that's honestly why we were all tuning in.
Yeah.
We were all tuning in for that fucking fight.
Yeah.
So it's best we end on the fight. So like we said, Lindsay checks on our girl Paige, and actually no, let's go back to that before the fight. Like we didn't even talk about the crux of the fight. Sorry. So fine, we're at the dinner table. Paige figures out a way in which to broach the subject, and I think I wrote it down too because I thought it was really funny.
Well, I like how she was ignoring Kyle up until that point, until she found the right moment, and then she's like, "Oh, now I'm gonna respond."
Paige. What name were you picking? Paige. What name was it? Paige.
What did I? Oh my gosh!
They were asking about the baby names, and Paige was like, "Oh, are you gonna go with like my list or something?" And
oh yeah.
I was like, well,
but she said something. I think she said Gail.
Oh, the name?
Yeah, Dale.
Dale?
No, I think that's what I think Paige said. Was it Gail or Dale?
Dale. Because Lindsay's middle name is Dale. It's Lindsay's middle name. So I don't know if that would work as well for a girl, but yeah.
I immediately hated it and then liked it as soon as you said that.
Well, I just like how thoughtful
I hated it and then I liked it.
Like Paige didn't just pick a random name. She was like, "What about your middle name?"
They're really.
I love them together
because you heard the details.
I also watched twice.
Oh yeah,
I missed that.
I knew the Dale, but I keep forgetting that Lindsay's on it. Danielle says it all the time. Lindsay Dale Hubbard. Yeah.
Oh. Well, this is where I started changing perspectives. Is at this because I really like. So we already knew before watching this that Kyle and Craig fell out, and I was completely on Team Craig's side initially before the season aired, before we got any more details, just off of how Kyle moved in the media, and then also I was basing it off of then when Hannah had revealed that was one of the reasons why Kyle and her had some tension was a Truly thing. I think I even brought that up last week. So I was like, and I really wanted a Kyle takedown season. So that was also me just wanting to believe that he was the villain in this. And so I was on Craig's side. I believed everything Craig was saying. And then listening, even though Kyle, the way he was explaining himself was a little juvenile, and I don't agree on how he handled it. And I actually really agreed with Amanda this episode. I thought she was actually handled everything really well between Paige and Kyle. It doesn't matter if like what you're saying is correct. You don't need in on paper, you're not handling it well. So we're not receiving it well. You are exasperating and exaggerating it, and it's making you become in the wrong. And now Craig is back here being believed because you're acting out right now. You're acting like a child that has gotten their toy taken from them and someone else is playing with it. Like you're being very juvenile in this moment. So like no one wants to hear it. Thank God the Hannah thing happened earlier this week because I was able to then look past that and really hear what Kyle was saying. And I was like, Kyle was probably in the right about this, about what happened between Craig. I do believe that what he was saying, like that Kyle did say, just give me a second. I have to like figure out how that would work. And Craig just doing what he wanted to do and then rewriting history later. And then when Kyle says that, he looks crazy because of the way he did it. But I don't know. Do you believe Kyle?
For me, it's not whether I believe Kyle or not. Is the fact that Kyle is able to use this platform as free promo for Loverboy.
Yeah.
And that nobody is able to bring anything on that is some type of competitor. And so for me, if your friend comes to you who has been, whether you guys are friends or not, your colleague or whatever, comes to you, and meanwhile you've been getting free promo for this alcohol non-alcoholic for years, and being like, hey, can I get a stake in your company? He should have been given people a stock or stake in their company for giving free promo and not bringing anything else. So for you to then be like, hold on, let me see how this works, or hold on, let me think. There's no hold on. It's, I'm going to have an offer, and this is the offer. Like, I'm going to work out the logistics of the offer. There's no let me think about it. Because like that to me is the only thing that I have a problem with, because like you're constantly giving that man promo. So now you're pissed off because
I agree with that.
else.
See, the thing is, I thought that was why he was pissed off. But like when I was really listening to it, I'm sure that is absolutely a part of it. And like, because Kyle, at the end of the day, he is a jealous man, and he like, whether Craig had done it the proper way or whatever, if Craig ultimately had decided to go with that company, he was going to be mad and hurt about it and probably lash out. However, I do think that what was really getting to him is the fact that Craig is a liar, and he was making it seem like none of what Kyle was saying was true. Like, he was only telling some of the story. You know what I mean? And then when Kyle filled in some of the blanks, he's like, nah, that didn't happen. And it's like, that is a frustrating thing. And then here comes Hannah backing it up with the truly thing. And it's like, for him, like, I think that really, and I think that's why, honestly, that rage text was majority about Hannah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm already trying to grapple with what just happened here. And I think he was like, I don't want the same thing to happen. But like, I also am not going to have Hannah come over here piggybacking on it, and I'm already upset about it. And then Craig ain't doing nothing to help me out in this situation either, to be like, well, I did say I was willing to, like, because Craig said straight up he was not willing to give him stake. And that's why he ultimately went. And that's not what Kyle said. So it's like, that part I can be like, I believe it. And I actually now think because I rewatched the clip of Hannah talking to Kyle on her last season, when Kyle like calms down. He's trying to have a conversation with Hannah, and Hannah then says, you're like reprimanding me, like you're acting like my dad. And
the dad thing. Yeah.
And then Kyle says, I literally just rewatched it, and it's still crazy, because I was like, maybe I'm just like exaggerating that season in my head. And I was like, no, it is legitimately crazy. And so in that same,
on her.
so that's what I was going to say. That's what I'm saying. Like, so I'm rewatching this clip, because now old clips of Hannah are resurfacing again. And Kyle is literally being really calm and rational in the situation. And he's trying, he in that moment was trying to fix whatever he could fix in this dynamic. And Hannah goes off the rails. She literally says, you're reprimanding me like my dad. And then Kyle's like, I'm trying to talk to you, but it's kind of hard because you're saying, like, I remind you of your father. And then you're like, and then she just immediately starts screaming at him, like, no, don't you ever talk about my dad. And just like starts, and then Kyle's like, I'm not. He's like, I'm not. And she, like, he can't even say anything. She starts screaming and running away, like, and never talk about, like, being so performative so the whole house can hear, and making it a point of saying, you talked about my family, never talk about my family. He did not. She brought it up. He just repeated what she said, had no opinion on it, at least at that time, couldn't get anything out. And she just goes off the rails and creates this whole thing. So I now think that when she brought up the Truly thing, I kind of like, I would like to know the timeline of when she got the offer for Truly, because she's trying to make it seem like the reason why they had tension was because she took the Truly offer. Now, I'm starting to believe that she took the Truly offer as being petty to purposely piss him off.
Yeah.
That feels a little more.
So she could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like to know the timeline. And so I also wrote, I would love Hannah to be, the one time I would like to see her back on my screen would be for the reunion. Just fly her in, because I would love some questions. I would love for her to clarify some things. And then you could fly her back out. So I hope, like, they had a whole episode about her. So, like, I fly her in for a second.
I do think what's helping Kyle is, to your point, like, now that this whole Hannah stuff is resurfacing again of her putting her, her foot in her mouth. And people are now, because we always talk about this, Bravo fans have short-term memory. They do this with Lindsay. They do this with Carl. They did it with Craig. Ever since, like, Craig started dating Paige, all of a sudden everyone's like, we believe Craig.
I forgot he's a liar.
Why? Yeah. Exactly. Literally. So it's like, it's now
no alleged.
No. Right. It's now helping Kyle that people are going through clips of Hannah. People are also going through clips of Craig because, Paige and him broke up and being like, we did remember him on Winter House.
The worst I've ever seen the house.
You did it mostly.
Craig, you smashed the thing up. We don't know that.
20 minutes, you're right. We'll be cleaning the house.
Oh. It's not happening. I'm not cleaning.
You're the one that made a mess.
I don't clean. 34 years old and I make plenty of money.
Okay.
I go on vacation and someone cleans for me.
Oh, we did remember him in Southern Charm. Oh, like Hannah did have a horrible season. And so, like, there is some truth to what he's saying. And I feel like people are not getting on him for whether they believe Craig or not. Of course, initially everyone was like, here's Kyle again. It's how he handles situations, to your point. Like, even with the Craig thing, immediately, just like, you then go on Watch What Happens Live. You then call him a liar. And it's like, you have his number. Literally what Paige says, you have his number. So why are you then going to Watch What Happens Live to talk about your issues that you're having with Craig? Why are you going rage texting Paige, talk about your issues that you're having with Hannah? It's like, go to be a man, like we've been saying about Jesse and Carl. Be a man and talk to the men.
Yeah.
Well, he just
and talk to and talk to Hannah. Like if you have I'm walking that back a little bit because I was with Paige with like, why are you texting me? And I agree. Like, he needs to also confront those people that he has the issue with. Like, talk to them too. But now that I'm seeing things unravel, like, again, going back to what happened with Hannah on the red carpet, also seeing how Craig has handled Paige in his breakup, I do believe that, I think, Jaleeza, you were saying this a little bit earlier, possibly, that Paige does need to, at a certain point, Paige is involved. Like, Hannah is your partner on Giggly Squad. She is a representation of you. And Craig is also a representation of you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Kyle obviously has a separate relationship with you where he does feel comfortable to talk shit about his own wife. So there is an established relationship there, right? So for him, I do believe him when he says he probably was just like, I just thought I could say this because I saw him on Watch What Happens Live. And he was, I did think I could say that to her because of the type of relationship we had. And that's okay for Paige to be like, I don't want, like, I think that Paige is also correct in being like, I can't, like, that is my best friend. That is my boyfriend. So you are putting me in a horrible position. So yes, like, I can see on both sides, but I also can understand Kyle being like, but you are my friend. Do you like, you're watching your partner say some stuff that you were there for that is not true, like, and you're not saying anything to defend me or actually making it seem like it is true. So now I need to know, like, are we friends?
But I wonder
like,
how much of it does Paige actually know? Like, did Craig lie to her too?
True.
Like, because it does feel like he's defending him like Craig did all the right things, but like,
that's actually something that I wrote down. That's something I wrote down in my notes, and I think that could be part of the reason why she started to question her relationship with Craig this summer. Like, part of it. Like, there's a lot of other things that were in motion and play, but I think that, like, maybe she started seeing, she's not a dumb person. Like, some of the stuff that Kyle was talking about, maybe, like, of course you're gonna believe your boyfriend, but, like, he's a liar, right? And a lot of times liars start slipping up, and she spends the most time with Craig. I'm sure his story started to change a little bit here and there. And I bet you at a certain point, he was like, I mean, yeah, Kyle did say that he was going to, like, draw something up, but I had to sign the contract. Like, you know, I'm making that up. This is all speculation. But I think that, again, Paige really values her relationship with Amanda. It was very clear like when they were hugging and talking, and she expressed how when the stuff with Hannah and Amanda breaking up, how that really affected her. I really think that if she started feeling like Craig is the bad guy in the situation, and then just like reflecting on all the other stuff that was not correct in the relationship, and adding up all the little lies that he would tell, she's probably like, oh, I don't want to be with him.
No,
I can't be with him forever.
Yeah. And it probably took a little bit longer for her to notice because they are long distance. So like, and he was quote unquote planning on moving to New York. And so she was just like, ooh, it's a no. I don't want to be with this guy. But I think you're correct. I think this summer probably was very eye opening to her. But again, Kyle, it's like, then say that to her. Be like, instead of rage texting her and being like, I hate your boyfriend, I hate Hannah, just like, okay, that has, I don't understand what you want from me. I don't hate my boyfriend and I don't hate Hannah. So what is it that you want from me? And I think he said it in the episode, I want to know your stance, but I don't think he said that.
He didn't ask that in the text.
He didn't. He said that to Amanda. He said that to Amanda. And again, I want to really say, like, I tend to not really side with Amanda on much, but I thought she handled that situation beautifully in a way where I felt like she really did have Kyle's back, but not delusionally. Like, she corrected him when he needed to be corrected, but she also was like, Paige, now, I was like, it was clear she was probably present for some of this. So she's like, no, he absolutely did say that. He did do this. Yeah. So, and that also probably shook Paige too, because Amanda don't lie for Kyle like that.
No.
Like,
she'll sell out Kyle like
Kyle under the bus. So I think that was probably something that Paige low-key peeped too. Like, hold on. Like, even like, I don't believe necessarily what Kyle says, but Amanda, she wouldn't lie.
No. Especially if it's going to cause a rift between her and Paige. Like, I could never 100%. See her doing that. So yeah, for her to say that, I'm sure it like stuck with Paige a little more than Kyle's tantrum.
Yeah.
I also am just like, I need Amanda to also wake up from this Kyle tantrum. It's like, at what point, whether Kyle is right or not, your husband should not be yelling at any woman, let alone your friend, or feel comfortable talking crap behind your back to your friends.
I mean, she does not know that part yet. She doesn't know that part yet. So I can't wait.
He does it on the show. Even outside of like
summer should be fun. Yes,
exactly. Like
that's about Amanda.
Last year, like what he was saying to Danielle, like calling her an effing
that pissed me off.
She does nothing.
Like, it's just like,
and also, I'm sorry, I'm gonna throw Danielle back into this. Danielle co-signing that, and like,
Danielle's
she's such a pick-me. Oh,
yeah, Jesus,
she's such a pick-me.
The boss,
like she was doing that even in this episode with like Jesse. She was gassing him up about like,
should I be touching you? Oh, we don't want Lexi to get jealous.
She's not worried about you, girl.
It's like,
get out of here.
Yeah, she's definitely not worried about you, girl.
No, did she also?
Not worried about you.
Also inserted herself in this back and forth. I forgot what she said because I know Sierra had asked, like, okay, like if Hannah bothers you so much, why don't you just block her? And then she also was like, how is Paige two-faced? Like she was defending her friend as she should. But I forgot. And then Lindsay also was just like, okay, what can we do to resolve? Like, obviously, like you rage texting Paige is not okay. Like she's upset about that. Like Lindsay also was trying to resolve and having Paige's back.
I'm just loving. I'm loving that the Sierra and Lindsay showing how you can interject in something that's happening without being intrusive.
Exactly.
Take note.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Something Danielle said. I think she pissed me off too.
Probably.
No, she said she did say something, but I actively didn't listen.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was her, Paige.
Kyle, is there any truth to what she's saying? Yes.
Dude,
come
Paige.
on. Come on.
What? No,
okay,
actually.
I can't remember, but
it was some bullshit, probably.
Obviously.
Just
something
that. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Bitch. Sorry.
Well, she was the one he was crying to the car in last season, right? The car crying?
She sure was. She sure the hell was.
You are correct. And she probably inserted
his back.
Scavenger.
She was ready to do it again. She's like, let's hop in the car.
She's like, let's go.
You're the hardest working man.
Girl. Sit down.
She was probably punching the air when everybody was having fun at that scavenger hunt. Like, oh, you guys think this is fun? Like, she was so ready. She had so many shady things geared up to say.
I feel like a gender reveal usually includes the baby daddy.
But then everybody had a good time. So she was like, she had to throw her like burn book away. Like, I can't.
You do not like to see it
Drop
happen, Lindsay.
And I'm so like, Lindsay, please, like, you like this woman. Why is this woman been on now going to be on 3 episodes? She is on the same amount of episodes as both Bailey and Gabby at this point because she's in the damn preview.
I think this is the same weekend. I don't think they left.
I know, but it's over a course of 3 damn episodes now. Now she's on the freaking as far as the season, she is like on the fucking show at this point.
Yeah.
And
Sure,
I was okay with 2 because we had to wrap it up. But apparently, like this longest weekend of my life,
yeah,
there has been like we have been able to get through 2 weekends before on an episode. Like get to it. Yeah. Please.
I think so. Obviously, so much happened in this weekend. Because even West was it's only Saturday? And they're like, yeah, we're going to the beach.
Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry, Wes, because I literally meant to give you a honorable shout out for breaking tension.
Oh, that was funny.
It was so funny.
Even
she's
Sierra
like,
acknowledged.
I don't think I have that. Like, yeah. And I also wanted to, what? I think you're going to say the same thing, so you go.
Oh, no. Maybe not. I was going to say, you see, that's, if it wasn't for the whole Craig thing, Kyle would have known that number of what they needed to invest in Lover Boy.
Which is the same number as 2019. You've had no growth. That's the first thing I caught.
That company is dead in the water. That's why he's trying to be a DJ.
Right. You was losing business last year, and now you pissed that other people going to other places they were trying to help you out. And now you have to think about it. Craig a liar or not, but the fact that he was like,
I mean, it was better business. Yeah, it was better business for him to go elsewhere. But
allegedly,
Craig is a liar.
Spritz company is supposed to be making an appearance.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I saw
hard tea.
Yeah, because they were doing not Craig, but Kyle, Carl, and I think the other guy from like Southern Hospitality. They were like in some there was like not a town hall, but like a Q&A.
I saw, because I was going to mention that too, and I saw that, but I was going to say a different part that Carl said. About the
Spritz, how horrible. He said that first.
Yeah.
So he said that first, and then a question came up saying that allegedly I got a press release that Spritz is supposed to make an appearance on Summer House. So I'm guessing it's when Craig visits.
Interesting.
He's gonna bring Summer House, Spritz in the house.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay, so we're gonna get some more information. I can't wait. But they did, for people who didn't see the town hall stuff, and I don't know if you saw it, Jaleeza. So what Carl said in that is that allegedly the Spritz company isn't doing well, and so much so that like where they do have it at like bars, like I think he said he was talking to somebody who had it at their bar. And they were like, it's so bad that we have to give it away for free, is what he said. But then Kyle, good PR, because it could just make it sound, because instead of like latching on to that and like being a full-on hater, Kyle did say that his issue is still only with Craig and how he moved in that deal, and it has nothing to do with the 2 people that own it. And he is very much good and hopes that they do well in their market. So he really PR'd that. Like, I'm not saying that he believes it, but he didn't like pile on. He was like, it's not about them, and it's not about me wanting them to fail. It's my issue, and he's smart for doing this. Has and always will be with how Craig handled that. So it's like, I'm not going to be mad at that, because that is the correct answer. That is the correct answer. Whether you believe it or not, that is the correct answer.
It is. That lady has a podcast.
Yeah.
So he does not want that lady blasting him.
Speaking of Sprint Society in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
Summer House was on last night, my new fave show.
And I also watched Watch What Happens Live, which is what we are really here to talk about.
Yes. So last night's episode of Watch What Happens Live with Kyle was recorded a few days ago. Conversation about Spritz and Loverboy and Ben and Kyle and Craig.
On her podcast.
And so does her husband.
Either.
Like I think they're pretty big in the podcasting world. So yeah, it would not.
Yeah, I think that's their claim to fame. And then they started the Spritz company.
Yeah, and so they use a lot of influencers, I guess, or like have a lot of influencers, including Craig.
So this makes sense.
So it makes more sense, like that Craig went that route, because that's what they do, to my understanding. as opposed to
And
Loverboy. It's all summer house.
and I think that it did make sense. I think it did make sense, and I don't think that they should have to turn down lucrative deals, Hannah included, because it hurts Kyle's feelings. However, like, just don't lie about it, Craig. And Hannah, I still distrust how you got the deal because I feel like there was ulterior motives, but we need more information. So, like,
So I have
don't
a
know.
question. So did Brits reach out to Craig and then Craig went to
I believe
Kyle
so.
saying-
That's what
I
Craig
believe
has
so.
said, or that's the story.
But again, Craig is a liar. Craig is a liar. So I don't know. But I also believe, because during that whole thing, I was trying to do more research on that, and the Spritz company, because you're right, Jaleeza, they have a podcast, and I believe they said it on their podcast. I saw a clip of it. That's how Kyle found out, is because they told him. I think they were having dinner or something with Kyle, and it got brought up, and I think that's what pissed Kyle off, because I think he had then on Kyle's timeline, he was like, I had just told this man, like, give me a second, and he already has the deal. So you were always going to take the deal, and you were going to pretend. So I think that's what pisses him off too. Like, oh, you was gonna lie. You was gonna do what Craig does, is lie, lie.
100%. And still I rise, as Stacey says.
Not you bringing Angela in here. My Angela. What's that, Angela? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my
Stacey. Sorry, my girl. Stacey on the Real Housewives of Potomac is a funny lady.
Love her.
But to wrap up the episode, I was really happy that Paige finally said on camera how it has been to be in the middle of Hannah and Amanda. Because she made it seem so easy, like the way she was able to really navigate those relationships. And it really seemed to have very close relationships with both. And I mean, she's never really explained how she was able to do that. And it is very clear that it has been a stress to say the least on her. And I can understand her being really pissed off at feeling like Kyle is acting as if, or not acknowledging how really hard it is to be able to have genuine friendships with both of these ladies without them feeling like one person is like getting shit on.
Yeah. No, fair. 100%. But honestly, then you have to put it back on, Amanda and Hannah. Like, I did feel sad for Paige when she was like, I can't have a bachelorette. Like, if these are your friends, they will put their differences aside and be there for you.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's...
And something tells me, and I mean, she didn't name names, it would be Hannah that would not budge. I feel like it would be on Hannah. I don't think it's Amanda. Because I remember at the last reunion, Kyle was like, I actually would be open to Hannah coming back. That's completely fine with me. So I do think and especially just rewatching some of the clips and even seeing, Hannah's a very vindictive person. Yeah. And I feel like it's very clear that she blames Kyle and she doesn't reflect. Mm-hmm. She's taking no accountability of that. It doesn't matter about this truly thing, if it's truly true or not. You cannot tell me your behavior was not unhinged on that show to a point where it was not watchable. Mm-hmm. And you're still not taking that in. And yes, I know we said last episode that, like, I'm sure Kyle did play a part of her getting fired. But I mean, I would too if the bitch was crazy all like, we're not friends and I don't want to work with you and I don't want another summer of that. It was very fucking toxic. So yeah, sure. Is Kyle not admitting that he absolutely played a part in it? Sure. But that's not why they fired.
I think in terms of like playing a part, I think they all kind of play, like, it's a shared house. Mm-hmm. So if you're not getting along with the majority of the house, you have to go. Yeah. And at the end of the day, if Hannah was a star, production's not letting her go. So
that's what I'm saying.
Whether Kyle says anything, production will be like, we love tension. Deal with it.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Lindsay. Lindsay, she usually has like one or two friends in the house, but mainly just usually one, which is Danielle. Yeah. But I've also seen her on the show. No Danielle. No, because remember that Danielle was not missed a season. Yeah. She was gone for one of the seasons as well. This is not her first time being gone. And she was fine. She was completely her fucking self. Yeah. So and the thing is because she's adding value. She's adding value to the show that's watchable. And it's a really delicate balance being the villain. And I know she isn't, the thing is, she's not intentionally the villain, but that's what she is technically the villain. That's how people perceive her. That is what it is.
Yeah.
But like, it's still watchable, right? They're like, and the way Hannah was like, get that. I am uncomfortable by you. Get that off my screen. This is like, you're screaming at this man about him talking about your dad when I literally just watched him not do that. Is crazy. You have this man that you just met that you're now married to, and you are fucking intentionally in their bathroom. That's weird.
Yeah.
I was like, this is odd.
Yeah.
It's odd. Her husband is odd as well. They're an odd couple. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
and this is why
don't like it.
I've never liked her. So I don't care where she is. Even
but then it's like Paige. But Paige, like, at a certain point, like, you are friends with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what about that seems like enjoyable? Like, at a certain point,
I see Paige.
Your friend Paige is, but the Paige is like only friends with her in Hannah in isolation. So sure, but like when you can you bring that bitch out into the world? See what happens? Just be on a red carpet, like
100%. And it's like Paige. I think Paige feels, again, she still needs to take accountability. Like, Paige has this whole thing of like, where so many people see friendships as, if I don't say anything, we can just coast. But the whole part of being friends is like, and we do this to each other all the time. Whether you hear the hard truth, like sometimes our delivery could be off, but we hold each other accountable. And I feel like what we're seeing on TV is that they don't hold each other accountable. They feel like if we don't say anything, the problem then goes away and we can move on. And Paige sees that Hannah had a huge platform before she came on Summer House. They got a podcast together. It's blown up. And this is her ticket out of Summer House to where she doesn't have to do this shared house anymore. And so, like, she doesn't want to ruin that relationship.
That entanglement that you mentioned last week.
Yes.
But no, it's true. And Paige kind of says it in this episode, like, in the sense of Giggly Squad is her whole life. So, like, for her, it's like, Kyle, like, I cannot necessarily take such a big stance, the stance that you so desire from me, because that is my business.
Yeah.
My literal business. If
Why can't she talk about it?
Like, I think it's just about Kyle,
the thing is,
right?
It was about Kyle.
And
It's because, well, actually, it was that. And also she said production early on when she started giggling.
Oh, so they don't talk about it on...
That was when a lot of people were not podcasting yet. Now, like, everybody has one. But at that time, it was not that many people that had podcasts on the network. And even Stassi, I don't think Stassi ever talked about. Stassi was one of the first people to ever podcast, I believe. Like, no one knew what that was.
And then make it bigger outside of that.
Yeah. And Instagram wasn't as big as it is now. And there was no TikTok. So I think on production's end, they were very much like, these are the parameters of having a podcast. Do not mention anything about Summer House. Like, because I don't think they wanted things leaked. And then in turn, also, it was very clear that Kyle just didn't understand what Giggly Squad was, didn't take podcasting seriously, still kind of doesn't. And so she just was like, I don't talk about Summer House. I don't talk about Summer House or Giggly Squad on Summer House. And they're just two separate worlds.
Yeah.
And they also said that they wanted to have a podcast that was not centered around Summer House so it could stand on its own.
Which is exactly what's but unfortunately, now the world is bleeding together because of Hannah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The person who's not on the show.
Yes. Very true. Very true.
That girl, that lady.
But I was happy that Paige and Amanda were able to talk it out and resolve it immediately. I thought that was a real indicator of the strength of their relationship and the mutual respect. So I was really happy that they worked it out. And kind of back to what you were saying, Shirley, like, in our dynamic and our friendships, we say things, but I feel like at the end of the day, we're able to actually, whether like who was right or wrong, we're able to, because there's that mutual respect and love there. We do explain or just really resolve it. There's always a resolve. So yeah.
I love that moment with the girls. Like,
I loved it too, but I have a question. Do you the Sierra of it all?
Oh, that's what I meant to fucking say. earlier. Yeah, I put that in my video, my Hannah video. I was like, everybody talking about like, what is Hannah going to say? I want to know I said, I literally want to know what Sierra has to say. I want to know what the group chat sounds like. Because I've seen Sierra be outspoken about microaggressions from even other Bravo celebrities and things like that. So I am very much interested in her thoughts, opinions, and what she's saying to Paige about this.
I just, my gut tells me that she does not like Hannah. Because like even
they were never friends. Like they kind of came in sort of at odds because of Luke, right? And so like I never like had a chance to like become friends. So yeah, like what is her take for being this?
Well, the thing is, Hannah kidnapped Sierra for the first part of that season in order to manipulate her, in order for an agenda of making I always forget that man's name.
Luke?
What is that man's name? Luke, in order to because Luke was not interested in Hannah anymore and was very much interested in Sierra. She did the typical thing, was like, then I'm going to be friends with her because then it would be girl code and I'm going to poison her mind against him, and which it kind of did work. But then as soon as she no longer needed Sierra, I'm like, I mean, I don't know this for sure, but I'm like, did she continue, like, how close and how much she kept on, like, being around Sierra that season? Once the dust settled, Luke's gone or whatever, she gets fired from Bravo. Did she maintain the friendship? Probably. I don't know. I don't ever hear her really talk about it. And I don't hear, I don't know. I feel like Sierra is also like, whatever, that's your friend. I'm not going to talk shit. Like, I get it.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel, that's how I feel. And I agree with Sierra in that respect of just like, you're friends with who you're friends with and keep that away from me. But it would be interesting to see like, okay, you said your friend has said something problematic and it's like, now you're like, again, what is your stance on that? I personally would want to be like, what is your stance on that? I don't care about the Trulies. I don't care about the contract. But when
I want to know
your stance on that. 100%.
Andy Cohen, you better ask that question on the reunion, please.
Ask Paige and make her answer.
100%.
Well, Sierra will be there too, because I want to know how that made her feel.
Yeah, 100%. Because that is a stance that you can't be like, I'm Switzerland.
No. And I do think that Sierra is put in a very hard position in the sense of like, she is a Black woman and everyone knows that she's very close to Paige. And she's probably is getting a lot of those questions. And also she's like trying to like, I don't know what her stance is. If her stance is what I think it is, which is she knows that is a microaggression as well. How does she call it out without simultaneously fucking Paige?
Yeah. She's in a very difficult position.
I mean, I don't expect her to say it quickly, right? Because I don't think she would, because she wouldn't, right? But like, part of me, and maybe, I don't know, maybe we don't deserve this, but part of me feels like we deserve to know what those private conversations sounded like, at least a little bit.
That's true.
That's why I like, again, like, you don't have to give us the, like, right now, but like at the reunion, I would like it brought up.
Mm-hmm. I think it goes back to like what you were saying, Pia, just like, this is why we're always on the fence with Paige, because it's like, you can't fully, granted, we don't know these people, but they are on our TV and a lot of them get their fame of getting through us, like the people who are watching. So it's like, it's hard to support someone like that, where it's like, that is an important stance. Like, are you like Hannah? And do you think these things of like, it's not about whether you listen to Megan Thee Stallion and this is how her music makes you feel, but it's like, do you have that bias in you? Like, I don't want to hear, but I do have a Black friend. Like, no. It's like, do you actually have
people can have black partners, Black children, and still be completely racist. And I'm not calling Hannah racist. I'm just saying what she said, like that. I'm just saying it is possible to have people that are in your lives that are Black and even call them a friend, call them a partner, and have children and still have internal racism or even external racism. It happens all the time. So being having some type of like connection to a Black person doesn't exempt you from being like saying racist or microaggressive or macroaggressive things. And I need everyone to fucking know that. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. And so like, yeah, it's, I agree with you guys in saying that like, and Jaleesa, to your point of like, maybe we do need to know what Paige's stance is on this because like, if you want us to support you, like we are people, women of color. And so it's like, that's important for me.
And the thing is, like you said earlier, I'm trying my best to not just make assumptions on her stance, and which is why I was treading lightly on making like bold statements about Paige, because again, I haven't technically heard or seen it, but also silence is a big indicator. So to your point, Shirla, I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to need you to say something, because if you don't say anything, I'm going to assume that you then agree with Hannah. And therefore, I can't support you, and I want to support you. So if you could let us know how you felt, that would be great.
Yeah, that'd be nice, because then I'm going to have to side with Bravo man, and I don't like doing that. So
I know, like, it hurt my soul to say that because I do not, like, Kyle pisses me off 99% of the time. He really does. And no pun intended, surely. But like, I even though I still do not agree with how he moved about that entire thing, like, he was making points. And I also knew that he was being truthful because he didn't go out that night.
Yeah.
And Kyle will miss a party.
That's a big deal for him.
Kyle will miss a party. I was like, he was hurt. That was a man hurt, and it was like, I'm telling the truth. I'm so clear that it's the truth that I'm staying my ass home because I'm that, like, just like, he was like, usually when Kyle is lying, he is so like all over the place. And I saw a man trying to contain himself because this was the one time he was being truthful in his life and no one was believing him.
And Amanda made a good point too. It's just like, because Sierra was like, how does this affect the business? And we're seeing that giggly squad and what they do. That echo chamber of those two can do no wrong. And so they are a force where they are then being like, don't drink from Kyle. So I think all that was playing in Kyle's head too.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is not going to go over well. They're going to be attacking me and my business, and like, and now it's the Southern Charm.
And that's why I also, like, Kyle said something funny, and I wrote down, he's like, this is slander. And I laughed out loud. Because I was like, I'm like, and I wrote down, he's like, he's so dramatic, but at the end, but I was like, but he's not wrong. It is
He's
slander.
not wrong. It is.
And it does affect his business. So it's like, it's hard to take him seriously, but what he is actually saying is correct. Yeah. It is very much correct. And people get sued for that all the fucking time. And also, I just thought about this. I'm going to also, this is towards Paige. Like, Paige, like, I get it. Your cast was not very supportive of Giggly Squad when it first started. You felt like you had to, like, separate it. It became a success, yet still no one wants to acknowledge it. And I just thought about it because we said Giggly Squad so many times. And I've thought about it in the past. Like, I'm aware of it, but it's really clicked for me right now. Why the fuck should Kyle want to talk about Giggly Squad when the whole podcast was in the inception and the idea is based off the fact that you and Hannah were in a corner giggling when Lindsay had asked questions about the planning process of Amanda and his wedding.
I know, like, the stress that goes into finding a venue, and...
All right.
Okay.
She's actually talking to you, and you're, like, hanging out with the Giggly Squad. Can we just have one person talking at a time and be respectful?
Kyle.
You literally are giggling the whole time. It's this...
Excited to be here. The first time we're laughing. We're having fun.
And you guys were uninterested to hear because you low-key, high-key did not support their relationship. And because of that, you guys were purposely pissing him off by giggling in the corner and not listening. And then he exploded and called you out. And again, Kyle, like, I understood why you were upset. They were being rude, but then you do something too explosive, and then no one remembers that was kind of mean what they were doing. And then they created a whole podcast making fun of you about it. Giggly Squad. That is literally where that came from.
Crazy.
So
I know.
Like, maybe he's not gonna want to talk about your podcast that was created because he yelled at you in a moment where you guys were absolutely purposefully giggling and baiting him.
Yeah.
And he took the bait. And now you have a successful podcast about it. And it's not, I mean, I'm not saying, by the way, that Kyle is why the podcast is successful, but but the name is a reminder of a time.
And it's a great name. It's a great name.
And I'm not mad at that they capitalized off of it either. So I'm not saying that. But I also, Paige, you cannot be delusional enough to, like, you're not acknowledging the fact that maybe that is a reason why he doesn't want to talk about it.
He might be a little bitter.
Exactly.
That could possibly be a reason why he's a little upset. You're naming everything else under the sun, but why one of the main reasons why he could maybe still be a little bitter about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting how they navigate this controversy moving forward, their podcasts. Because the next time somebody sees them on a red carpet, Lord.
Don't give them any more red carpet.
That's why I said I started this off with, if Paige was smart, she would just do it by herself, because I do think that Paige it has capabilities of doing it. And so then she could, like, if I was her and I wanted to ensure that my career continue to grow, I would book another one and show that I can do the job without Hannah and do the job, especially since you were technically not the person that has said it. And it's not like Hannah brings you on stage when she does her Netflix special. Like, you guys can do things different separately. Yeah. So that's what if I was her, that's what I would do. Personally.
No, I agree.
And whatever happens to Hannah happens to Hannah.
Yeah. She probably didn't feel comfortable. She probably I still think like she has this whole sense of where she feels indebted to Hannah, and just like, they have to do anything that's outside of the podcast, they have to do together.
And
they do not. And like, I don't listen to their podcast, but like somebody was making comments that like Hannah even cuts off Paige on the episodes. So like, it's just like, hey, to your point, you could do this on your own. Like, maybe it's time to graduate. And do your own thing.
And you can still have a podcast if you want. And it's like, again, like I said, Hannah goes and she does her own stuff all the time. You can too. And I know she has her Amazon Lives, and that's why I'm like, I know you're capable of doing it. And I know you have interest in it. You're the DSW brand ambassador. Like, this should have been your fucking moment to really showcase your love and passion of fashion. And you took the easy way out, and you really blew an opportunity.
Yeah.
Blew an opportunity, babe.
Yeah. I agree with you. Hopefully she could just like find something separate and redeem herself.
She needs to create
Start off small and do your research, do well on that, and then graduate something.
Yeah. Well, either way, that's not my fucking problem. So
good luck to those girls. Concepts and prayers.
Yeah, concepts of prayers. And on that note, ladies, I think that concludes this episode of Summer House, and we have many more to come, and hopefully not many more to come with Danielle.
Oh my God.
I'm over it.
Hopefully next week the last one.
She's replacing Bailey. Surprise!
God damn it. Summer should be fun.
Danielle's
definitely not fun.
Not fun.
Hopefully she does not hook up with the new guy. I need that man.
I don't think she is, because if it would have happened, it would have happened. Like, that man brought someone else home from the
He's actively not trying to hook up with her.
That's so embarrassing for her.
It's really reminiscent of Jordan.
That she'll find some way to blame another woman, just like how she blamed Jordan.
Oh, well. Not my fucking problem.
Not my problem.
I'm about my black business. Just kidding. I'm gonna tell you. Well, we go mind our black business in the context of this podcast, but otherwise I ain't it.
Right. Correct. Ain't got nothing to do with
All right.
us.
I can't wait for episode 5.
Yeah.
Looks like it's gonna be good.
So we'll see the Kyle and Paige sit down and is anything
there
else?
was more Danielle
and then Danielle's going to Danielle
problems.
and she's going to try to like get in Lindsay's head about her relationship with Turner.
How they don't live together, that whole thing.
Yeah.
This girl likes an unhappy Lindsay, and the only way that they can be good friends is if Lindsay's in shit.
She wants to be Lindsay's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh,
she's probably jealous of that damn baby too.
Probably.
Oh my gosh. Keep her away from Gemma.
Gemma. watch out.
And Gabby.
I said I wasn't talking about nobody's kids. Hold on now. Sorry, Gemma.
We love Gemma.
Yeah, no, that's a warning
We
for
love
Gemma
Gemma.
because we love her. We're trying to protect
We do love
her.
Gemma.
Honestly,
Try to check
Gabby
her
need to watch
energy.
out.
Gabby too.
Gabby needs to watch out.
Gabby is. Where is Gabby? No one knows.
I don't know.
Like,
No one knows.
Danielle has
Damn.
dropped her in
They
the-
are really like, but see, like the thing is, it's like Gabby when she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna, build a roster this summer and I'm gonna go out." She went out and they didn't do no like Gabby's not in her bed like they did with Wes. They really don't want Gabby on this season.
I'm sorry. I just think Gabby don't want Gabby on this season. Like, I don't know. Like,
She could be trying, and they just are just like
she's not. Shirla, I literally told you. She said, Shirla.
I know.
No, I get it because we root
For everybody black. I am.
We are Issa Rae. I'm rooting for everyone black.
Yeah. No.
So it hurts me that like she is not working out, but I am not going to be blind to the fact that she is boring as fuck. Okay.
I agree.
Like,
I think the thing is for me is like what I get it's kind of like the same thing with like traders of like Danielle. I hate when it's fine to not like somebody. It's just like I hate when the internet then jumps on just be like, you're so useless. Like they just start to get, now that's how they get like really mean. And like, and they do it to Lindsay too. Like it's just like, even though
they
Lindsay's
go too far.
Yes. Even though Lindsay's widely entertaining, they will find any little thing of being like, what are you still doing here? So it's just like that. I just don't want her to internalize that. Just like, it's fine where you just are not meant for this show.
And the thing is, for when I watched the interview, she seemed at peace with that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, okay, like I had to finally be like out loud, like, well, it's not working out.
Yeah.
It's not. And that doesn't mean I don't like you. Like I didn't like Maya.
Oh.
I didn't like her.
Maya was bad.
I like Gabby. I just don't think, and I get it. She doesn't want to be a mess on TV. She doesn't want everyone in her business, but that is literally the business of reality TV. So not everybody's meant for that. She found some great friends, and I hope that she continues to be friends with them. Or I hope she figures out a way in which she can show her dazzling personality on camera. Like either or, it will work for me. I'm always, by the way, if they keep her on, I'm happy too. I'm not calling for her to be fired. I fear that that's what's going to happen because she isn't producing.
I do think that she thinks that she can be that Paige role. And it's like, you got to be yourself, babe. Like, yes, you are into fashion, but you got to carve your own path, just like Paige carved her own path. And it's just not like she thinks like the one-liners, like what she said about Carl Lindsay, like then she's not ready to receive it back. Like that's how you like, it's just like,
I
also saw that clip too. Like when even Carl showed up, he was like, oh, you firing at me, I'm firing back at you. And sis had nothing to say.
I mean, it shook me because I'm one of the biggest Carl haters in the fact that I definitely agreed with Gabby. I was like, I don't think that Carl should be on Summer House anymore because like, what is he bringing? And it has nothing. I know some people are like, well, we can't just because he's sober, like we can't just be kicking people out of the house. So I didn't say anything about that. There are plenty of people that are sober on reality TV that are quite entertaining. Yeah. I can't stand Lala, but Lala doesn't need alcohol to be entertaining. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are a lot of people on TV that are sober.
Maddie,
and entertain me.
Southern Hospitality.
Yeah, Maddie's entertaining as hell. I don't like her, but I understand why she's on TV. Old girl from New Jersey. She used to do the pigtails. Now she doesn't.
Oh, Margaret.
Always in People's Business.
Yeah.
Margaret. Marge.
Yeah.
She's sober. She like there are. So it's not a sober thing. It's like a Carl. I think that the only reason Carl had ever been entertaining was because of alcohol. And I don't know as like a person how entertaining he is. However, I might be wrong because I saw he was fine this episode and maybe he's finally just, secure in his sobriety and he can relax a little bit.
But he also has that Lindsay storyline of my ex is in the house.
Yeah, like he's
like
that.
That's
why that's why I said if Lindsay didn't come back, I would be interested in to see because like to your point, that is the only other like he only has one summer, right?
Yeah,
and rightfully so. It's an interesting storyline. Your ex-fiance is pregnant. So I get it. So no one can fault him for that. Lindsay literally gave him a storyline.
Exactly.
And that's fine.
Exactly.
But next summer, babe, you gotta fly by yourself. It has to be something new. So I think next summer will be the testament of if Carl can survive being on Summer House and if he is actually providing us with anything.
Yeah.
I think next summer will be the ultimate test.
I agree. And they need to put Lindsay on Roni and call it a day.
I don't even want that. I just want the cast to graduate and have a show in the city. And I want to see more of their dynamics because I don't actually want. I want to see they have real friendships and they do hang out outside of this show, and I want to see more of that. I want to see more of their life in the city, and I would love them to give them a spinoff, much like The Valley, but just with the same cast. And see what they're doing during the week.
Yeah, I've been saying that too. The only thing is like, but if they don't do that, I do think Lindsay, because Lindsay said she hangs out with the Roni cast anyway.
Oh, she does?
New York. Yeah. So she I think the Aaron girl, like a Lindsay are like friends, but she can literally fit in anywhere. Like I still think, I don't think the Summer House casts are actually outside of like that bubble of Paige and Sierra. Like they don't really hang out like that. Like they hang out when they film. So like it's very similar to Roni anyway, but like I agree. I don't think their story is done being told, and I would love, we love seeing them in the city, and if they could do more of that, that'd be great. And get other people, have Wes and them be in that shared house, and have the OG cast be more in the city. I would watch
and
that.
as much as I don't want Hannah back on my screen. Giggly, to Paige's point, Giggly Squad is such a big part of her life. I would like to see a little bit BTS of like how the inner workings of that, like how many times a week do they film? Like I am interested. Like how did you build this kingdom? We don't need to have Hannah on the show, but like there's ways around that. Like I mean, she's obviously in her life, but like they could figure it out. They've edited people out before.
Yeah, she could kind of just be peripheral. We don't have to hear from her, but like, we could see the back of her head or something while they're recording.
Yeah.
I don't think that would work out for Paige. I feel like the more we would get to know that side, the more people may be like, I don't like what I.
But let us see it.
I know you didn't mean that to be funny, but I literally like just really taking what me and Jaleeza were saying and just being like, no,
that's not good.
Not good for Paige.
We literally saw
the marketing hopped out.
What happened? Yes,
but like literally watching you take that in and be like, I fear that will be the end of her.
But also, let's see it.
Sometimes you don't.
If you end yourself, that's your fault.
People are like, the reason why a lot of people, like how they always say, like, I kind of wish I knew less about this person. That is where
J-Lo?
Yes. That is a great one. And it's like, we
Justin
need to.
Timberlake.
Keep going. Keep going.
Ellen.
It's like the mysteriousness of you. Let's keep that, because like, we love the one-liners, all that stuff. But when you start to see more in their life, you're like, oh, this is who they are. I don't like that. I don't.
And it's hard for me because Sean likes to joke and say that J-Lo is my favorite actor, which is untrue. I do like a good amount of her movies, but
like, rom-com J-Lo.
She's a good
old old rom-com J-Lo. New rom-com J-Lo is not hitting. Not hitting. Marry Me, like I had to turn off Marry Me. I could not even get through that.
I think I turned it on the plane and I took it off. Yeah,
I tried.
It was so bad.
I also don't believe in that Wilson man. Is it Owen or is it
Owen Wilson?
Every rom-com that he's in, I don't believe in.
Okay, if that's gonna be, go to hell, because Wedding Crashers is great.
I love Wedding Crashers, but I don't believe in his rom-com stories. I'm sorry.
Interesting.
I said what I said.
Okay.
Are you in love with Owen?
No, I'm not.
Is Owen in love with J-Lo? Is Owen in love with any of these women? I need to believe his story, and I don't believe that he's in love with any of these women.
Okay, to be fair, I agree with that, but I still really love Wedding Crashers.
No, did I disagree with you that Wedding Crashers was a good movie or not?
No,
I did not.
No, but you're really
don't
making me have to think about it, and you're really kind of ruining an aspect of it for me.
I'm sorry, Hannah.
It's okay. Don't you dare, bitch.
I knew that reaction was coming. So I was just waiting for it. The delay.
You're really the Hannah baiting me. I'm Kyle.
You are Kyle.
And I take the bait every time.
That's actually so true.
Yeah.
Don't ever compare me to Kyle. Or Hannah. I'm Paige. So I agree with you.
You two are the giggly squad.
If it's funny, we laugh.
Podcast. Exactly.
Okay, Paige.
But I like old school. To your point, you are correct. I do like old rom-com J-Lo. But my rom-coms, I have to believe in the love story. Like, I have to be like,
okay,
they truly do love each other. And with Owen,
I
just don't. But I did like Wedding Crashers. So,
okay. Well, doesn't sound like it.
Okay. Well,
and on that note,
I guess this is my last episode. Okay.
I don't know. I gotta check your Q rating.
My Q rating? Not on Bailey. I had boyfriend issues. Shirla has boyfriend issues. That's why she snapped back. Okay.
She has a running her mouth and leaking storylines issue.
Oopsie.
Bye to that lady forever.
I don't know that lady.
Not to us forever, because we'll be back next week with another recap of episode 5 of Summer House. And on that note, ladies, summer should be fun.
This podcast
is fun.
Thanks to you, ladies, my Bravo sleuths. And we'll see you back here with a recap of Summer House episode 5. Woo! I feel like I really planned on that episode being like an hour. But of course, we took turns and we went on tangents. But they were all very important to get to the crux of breaking down that episode. So I have zero regrets. And I want to thank Shirla and Jaleeza for really, I feel like they came with some good theories. They got me thinking. I hope they got you thinking. I think we got each other thinking. And we'll continue thinking on next week's episode when we recap episode number 5 of Summer House. And if you guys have any opinions on what our takes were, or if you want to add to the conversation, you can always find us in the comments section. You can always find them on their individual platforms, which I will list on the screen, and I will have in the show details as well. So you can follow Shirla and Jaleeza on their social media platforms, and those will all be linked in the description below. But yeah, please comment. Let me know let us know what you're thinking. Join the conversation, because I want to know, are you guys agreeing with how we were feeling about how episode 4 went, or how we are feeling about the group, the cast, and what we think is happening? I want to know. I need all perspectives. Shoot them at me, please. All right. And again, thank you for listening. I really love all the feedback that I've been getting, and it's just been a pleasure kind of popping off with you each week, especially about I love Summer House. So I'm so excited to hear everybody's thoughts and opinions on the season. I think this is going to be, so far, it's such a great season. So I want to hear what you guys are thinking about it too. So again, thank you for listening. And thank you for continuing to listen. And I think that's really all I have to say. To sum it up, summer is fun. This podcast is fun. And most importantly, you guys are fun. I'll see you back here next week. And what do I always say? Oh yeah, pop off.